All right, King Killers, we're covering chapters 11 through Interlude 2 of The Way of Kings in this episode. We cover a very heavy Kaladin episode as he contemplates ending it all. And then we get a couple lighter chapters as we discover the Purelake and creepy Nan Balat. We also talk about why you should always model your life after Tupac characters, why Amaram was right, and how the Purelaker Gods came to be. So sit back and enjoy. All right, welcome back to the King Killer Podcast. I'm Dan. Got with me the Sadius to my wit.
Wow.
Tim, what's going
on? Good. That was not, again, you're pretty consistent with the unfavorable introductions.
I mean, you're always in sluts, and so I've...
That is a classic, absolutely classic line. Definitely one of my favorite characters of the books, but maybe one of my favorite characters I've ever read in any books. He's so great.
Yeah, Wit is fantastic. He's a character in most of the Cosmere books. This is his by far his most prominent role in any of the books, but he is a character usually hidden. Like, it's not explicitly him. You have to figure out it's him.
He's Hoyd as well, right? Isn't it
correct? Hoyd? Yeah, he's Hoyd in most of the other stories. But sometimes, he's like, a beggar or, like some bum on the street.
He's like a street musician at one point.
Yeah.
In these books.
Yeah.
Or, towards the end of this book.
Yeah, he does something similar to that, like that musician thing. He does something similar to that in one of the books. And he does it Warbreaker.
I just realized he did it with the lute, the flute. Wait, am I saying that right? Flute. That's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my brain went crazy. The flute with Kaladin around the fire. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
And then I think he's strumming a guitar or something. Later on with the stupid guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he shows up in a number of the series, so he's obviously and got a prominent role in the whole Cosmere beyond just Stormlight Archive, because he's in at least all the main books. He might not be in every little side story, but I know he's in Warbreaker, Elantris, the Mistborn, all 5 of the Mistborn books. He's in all of Stormlight. He's in White Sand. I don't know if he's in every one of the White Sand graphic novels, but he's in it. I'm not sure about a couple of the side stories, though. He might not be in those.
Sounds like a lot of books.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Stormlight ones are by far the biggest. Mistborns the first 3 are a little bit bigger books. They're not bigger than Stormlight, but they're, good size, like maybe Name of the Wind, or maybe a little smaller than Name of the Wind, but in that size. And then the Elantris and Warbreaker are not that big.
That's the what I keep seeing more and more people talking about are the Mistborn and Stormlight Archive are kind of the big ones to. It's funny because a lot of people, when they talk about it, they're like, oh, they're great. It's a big undertaking. They talk about it like it's kind of, I mean, you could say that also with like Song of Ice and Fire. It is kind of a big undertaking. I mean, it's a bunch of books. So yeah, you're going to be reading for a while, get through them all. But, if you like reading.
I mean, I've just, like, when people are like, it's a big undertaking. It's like, well, you could say that about Sopranos or Breaking Bad or fucking any of that. I mean, they're talking hour-long episodes.
And they're great series. Like, that's funny because the Sopranos HBO whatever movie came out. So I was like, I'm gonna rewatch the series. Try to get my wife to watch it. She didn't. It just didn't happen. So I watched all of the episodes and I was like, fuck, man, this is kind of a lot. But it's great, and I loved it. I loved it the first time, loved it the second time. Get to the end, and the movie is not available on HBO after all that shit. So I have to wait. I think it was like middle of this month, or either that or January. It's going to come out.
That's great.
But yeah. So, but it is just a movie. It did make me want like another season, but it's a great show.
Yeah,
but
I love
you're
Sopranos.
Right. They're all big undertakings if you're going to redo it all over again.
I just have I never think of it in those terms. It's like, is it good? Do I want to read it? And then okay, so it's my free time. So as long as it's good, like I'm not doing this when I'm to have other things to do.
Well, that's the part of it that does kind of crack. That's why when I see it, it kind of sticks out to me because that's not the way I describe things. I would either recommend it because it's great, or I'd have my qualifiers, but I don't know if any of them would be like it's really long.
A lot of people I see, like,
they look at it and they're like, "Well, it's too many pages."
I see this in fantasy, especially. There's a lot of people out there who will recommend something, and then they'll undercut their recommendation with their next list of things on why you shouldn't read it. And I think there's a lot of people who are in fantasy. Yeah, they're like, they feel like they're recommending like hardcore porn or something, the way they talk about it, where it's like they're ashamed to admit that they like it. But you get a lot of people who would be like, it's real long. It's an investment. You got to put in a lot of. And it's like, dude, that makes me never want to read something if you sell it like that. Like, stop. You should not sell this book. You're terrible at it. Let someone else who is just going to say, this book's awesome, you'll really like it, you should check it out.
Someone really recommended a book to me when I was in college. I read it, and now I've read everything the guy's written. He's a very popular author as well. But I recommended, somebody saw me reading it, so when I finished it, I gave it to somebody that I was hanging out with at the time. And after they read it, they just, not only were they like, man, that was weird, they're like, so you're like you're weird. Like, you're weird. I was like, I mean, fuck, man, I guess. I guess. I mean, I'm not alone. Yeah. A lot of people read Murakami, so I'm not alone, but it did make me view that person differently as well. But it did kind of shape the way I recommended books for a long time after that, or recommended authors.
And I mean, you see it real bad too with like King Killer Chronicles. There's so many people that'll be like, "Oh, it's the best book I've ever read. It's so good." But just to give you fair warning, hasn't the third book? It's been 10 years, and it might never come out. So if you read this, you might never get a conclusion to it. So just letting you know. And it's like, you just said it's the best fucking book you ever read.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit about all the rest of that shit? If someone's like, this is the best book I ever read, I want to read the best book I've ever read. Like that, like, I don't care if a story is never finished, if the first one is the best book I've ever read. Worth it to me.
When I was in the middle of reading King Killer Chronicles, anyone that I knew pretty well, that I knew also liked to read, I was wholeheartedly recommending. I mean, I bought it and sent it to some people. Yeah. Because it's so freaking good. And only one did come back like mad because they read both books in like a week and came back mad at me because I didn't tell them it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a need to warn to put out a warning.
It doesn't even occur to me. Like, I mean,
it didn't bother me. I tried to look it up. As soon as I finished the second book, I was like, trying to find out, and then it was like, oh, okay, so it's not finished. I mean, it didn't really bother me. It gave me something to look forward to. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. For me, it's a bit of
you get into, a lot of these people are getting jaded, and then they feed on their own energy, like back and forth, like talking about how mad they are, and they builds up, and then then they talk shit to Rothfuss, and he blocks them, and then they get even angrier, and it's like, dude, just settle down, go read something else, man. Fucking your life's too fucking short.
There's a ton of books, and these ones that you're warning people, there's a big series. Do that, because apparently you need it. You need something else to distract you. I personally, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the series being finished, but in a way, I'll be disappointed because it doesn't matter what he does. He could land it perfectly, and I still will be disappointed because it's over.
I know for certain that I'm going to have to wait over 10 years to get to the conclusion of the Stormlight archives. That doesn't lessen my joy of the books. Like, I don't, like, okay. So what am I going to never watch a first season of a TV show because it might get canceled? Like, what is this? No, I just watch things and I either enjoy them or not for what they are. And I hope to get the conclusion. If I don't, I'm not going to fucking let it wreck my life.
I'm picturing like, dude, it's really nice outside. Oh, it's going to end. Sun will go down.
Yeah. Sun will go down later.
Why bother? Why even bother?
One way to view the world, I guess.
You can do the same thing with food.
I'm only gonna
have a real nice
only
meal,
gonna read
but I'm
things
gonna have to...
when they're complete. Like, can you imagine? Like, just especially if you're a young person, like some things you can only experience. You only get that experience once when you're young. If you're gonna be like, well, no, I'm gonna wait until that series completely finished. It's like you're gonna be a totally different person. It's gonna be an entirely different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's something that's definitely been true for me with a lot of books. I mean, there's plenty that I wasn't ready for, and I started to read something like it just didn't happen. And then 10 years later, it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. You know, that's happened.
Or the reverse. You would really enjoy it when you're young, and you'll hate it when you get older. So
you get older,
shouldn't deprive yourself of things.
What did I
like?
Learn to
enjoy the moment. Like quit worrying about the conclusion. Like enjoy the journey. You know.
Any show, virtually not any show, but like most shows that have laugh track. When I'm in another room, or if I walk in, I see a show with laugh track now, it's quite jarring to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when you were younger, that's what it was. That was natural. But
yeah. I mean, you got to get into that fucking Stormlight philosophy, man.
What you're saying is embrace the now.
Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. Enjoy that journey, man.
It is the journey. It is the route of getting there.
While you're enjoying the journey, listen to Journey, and you fucking blow your nips off.
Jukebox hero.
Tell them where you ended up getting in the books.
I'm done, dude. Well, I'm done with book 1. So I know everything. Boom.
You know the entire series. You got it.
Yeah, got it all down.
All of Cosmere.
I've started the second book, which I don't even remember the name. What the hell's the name of the second book?
Words of Radiance.
Yeah, Words of Radiance. So I've started that, and dude, I mean, it's fucking great. The end of book 1 is tremendous. So many things now make sense. So many things get put together. I mean, so many different motifs that he had throughout the beginning of the chapters. The death rattles now make sense. There's just so much that now makes a lot more sense with connections between Dalinar, the Kolins, and Kaladin, and there's just so many things that come together with the history and where we're kind of going. And starting book 2, it's again just it's another perspective of Szeth, murdering the king. So seeing that again, and then how big, because that's what the second chapter, I think. I mean, it's the beginning of this book, and then we revisit it repeatedly. Yeah, because of how wide ranging the result of, or the impact of it is.
Yeah, it's the first chapter in this book, and yeah, there's what was your, because obviously part 4, it's a massive rolling stone. I mean, as far as you just start moving on part 4, it's a massive crescendo. I like the second book better than book 1, but the crescendo in book 1 is just a phenomenal way to kick off a series.
Yeah, I mean, it answers so many questions while bringing up some more. And yeah, I think I went through the last quarter of the book, I mean, way faster than I had anything prior. I was almost constantly listening or reading to it. But yeah, it's dope, man. It's great. there's so many there's so many different parts. I think I was texting you like about this and about this and about wit and about different things that were popping up that I had been wondering about that I got more answers about. So
Yeah, I love
it's a lot.
the scenes that I like a lot. I like when you get Dalinar and Adolin get kind of abandoned by Sadeas,
Yeah.
and then Kaladin, that moment where he's like, "Yo, we're fucking free, fucking deuces, man, let's go, fucking out of this joint."
We got our way.
And they're not even
out,
gonna
and then
fucking chase us.
Yeah.
And then
It's
that fucking guilt and that fucking, who he is as a person start eating at him like, I can't do this.
well, it's so interesting where you get that. I feel that seems to weave through with Yasna, Shallan, Kaladin, Dalinar doing what's right, right? Doing like the right thing, the noble thing. And then you find out that's Syl's, and Syl is the noble. Damn, what's the word?
Honor.
Honor, yeah. What's the thing though? The
Spren.
Spren. Yeah, honor Spren.
Yeah.
So and you're kind of getting that before then anyway. But all of that sort of coming together, and so it's part of the entire world, and all of it's interconnected in that way. And then the beginning of book 2, where you get, and well, actually, at the end of book 1, I guess I think it's towards the epilogue, where you hear Shallan and Yasna going back and forth about the importance of the Parshendi and how in tune they are basically with everything else. It's it's fucking great. Oh, what I was gonna say about all that battle scene stuff, where Kaladin's like starting to like utilize his newfound skills, I guess you could say, and really coming into his own with it, dude. Visually, it's so great. But also the process of Sadeas, I started to think, oh, so he's actually kind of a decent guy. And as soon as you're there, that kind of sat for a while, and then he fucking completely turned. And
yeah,
and
especially when that part comes up where like he's mocking Dalinar about the book, and then Dalinar says some things, and as Dalinar's walking out, he's like, "Hey, why don't you send someone to read me that book?" And you're like, "Oh, okay." So he's starting to open up a little bit, starting to consider that
old
Dalinar.
Friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole old friend shit.
But he's just setting him up
slowly. Well, yeah, and we're getting set up. That's what's so genius, is we're kind of getting set up with Dalinar, and then it. But then even eventually, I mean, even when he confronts him, it's like, well, maybe it was what was necessary to make Dalinar do what needed to be done. It's about the journey, right? So this happens, then that happens, then you become this next thing. Gives up his fucking shard blade. I mean, it's it's fucking great, man. That's another thing. I mean, all of those things have happened since the last time, just in the last handful of days. Kaladin, and finally learning that Kaladin gave up the shard blade. Like, he had it, and Sadeas took his fucking shard, or not Sadeas, Amaram took his shard blade.
Yeah, that's just dope. I mean, that's part of the cool aspect of it is like Kaladin, when he's sitting there, he's like, man, screw these guys. That, they're all the Light Eyes are pieces of garbage. Why should I risk our lives to go save one of these garbage people? And then he's like, but Dalinar fucking saved us. And then he's like, buddy, that was just for his glory. And, he's trying to wrestle with it. And then, so he finally saves him. And then when Dalinar and Sadeas are sitting there talking, Kaladin's like, man, I fucking knew it. I knew it. Yeah. We should have fucking got out. And then Dalinar gives up the sword. It's a pretty fucking phenomenal way, because like you don't expect Dalinar to fucking give up a shard blade after all that's been built up about it. Like, I mean, to give it to Sadeas,
and especially how strategic he is.
Yeah.
Right. Because strategically, it's a bad move. Right. I mean, at least initially, it seems that way. The us and them thing, though, is fucking great, because what you just said about Kaladin's viewpoint of Light Eyes, so it's us and them, and then his viewpoint of the Parshendi, it's just whoever's the other guy, that's who we kill. And Dalinar had the same dichotomy within himself, where they start respecting the Parshendi as they're fighting, because
Yeah.
they're the soldiers he was looking for. Other than Dalinar, this is like the quality of soldier that Kaladin's been looking for, and he's massacring them.
Yeah.
So now he's got that inner turmoil that is going to play out moving forward as well. It's man, it's it's great.
I loved too the scene where when the Parshindi circle around on him and they're about to launch all the arrows, and then he just like sticks out his arm and latches all of the like hundreds of arrows into his shield.
Yeah. And it like
blasting through his arm, and
it's in his arm. Yeah, it's fucking crazy,
it's
dude.
like, oh shit! Like, you imagine, like, you're sitting there because like these people have not seen this. This is not something anybody else has seen in this in this world in their entire lives. They've not seen anybody do this shit. Like, the assassin in white is a mythical type of figure. Like, only a few people saw him do what he did. And the stories behind it would be crazy, but it's like believing in magic in our world. Be like, that's not possible. And then you see Kaladin, while you're like, fuck, we're dead. And then Kaladin fucking yanks all the arrows into his arm and then heals himself. You gotta be like, this motherfucker's a fucking god.
Well, and that's part of that's again the underlying question too. Why the assassin in white? Why the assassin needs to be seen? I mean, he was ordered to be seen. He was ordered to not lay waste to everybody, leave some alive. So someone like Yasna can witness some of what he does, right? So that brings more fable, and that encourages at least the exploration of the existence of this. So yeah, I mean, he does such a great job of answering so many questions, bringing the world together, and almost in a way, you're almost like, wow, he's almost finishing everything.
Yeah,
but then he's not, because all these things we still don't know 100% where it's going, But so much comes together. It's very satisfying,
and then
it's really.
And then for let's see. Oh, obviously the other part as far as the Dalinar, Adolin, Kaladin section is Dalinar going into Elkar's room and fucking beating the shit out of him. Like, yo, hey, and by the way, banging your mom.
It's so perfect because the introduction is Elkar's like, yeah, I heard you guys had some trouble out there, but clearly everything's fine because you're here. By the way, I've been hearing these things. People have been talking about you and my mom. We need to squash that. Definitely need to make sure people don't, think something's going on, because obviously nothing's going on. And then he kicks him in the fucking chest.
Yeah.
And then starts beating the piss out of him, and then nearly kills him. And then as he walks away, and then like instead of killing him, he's like, "I love you." And I'm doing this for you, and blah, blah, and how dare you question me?
Just look how easy this was for me, though. If I wanted you dead, you'd be fucking dead. And he's like, I just come in here and kill you and take power.
It's so compelling because, it's the perfect way to convince him without any doubt. I could have done this all along. I could do this right now. Clearly, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, if he wanted to be a brutal dictator, he could take over.
Yeah. So
people would fall in line.
So his message is basically like, let's move on. Let's do this together. And by the way, I'm shagging your mom, so just accept it.
Tapping that ass.
As he walks out. Oh, man. Again, it's extraordinarily satisfying. The ability to bring all of these things to culminate along
for like the next month in meetings, he would just stare at Alucard and be like...
A lot of finger through a hole thing.
Yeah.
He's like acting like he's scratching his palm.
Man. So fucking hilarious.
Oh, I'm so tired. I was up all night, man. Just all night.
Mom is wearing me out. Tell your moms to give a boy a break.
It was all those years, all those years of just being alone. She was pent up energy, man.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, fucking elbowing him. Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then so Shallan and Yasna.
That's great, dude. Their back and forth is tremendous, man. Like the I'm caught, oh no, to like Shallan not only owns it, but like plays her fucking cards perfectly. And it's like, well, I'm here. What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? I have you. And the what is it? The Shadesmere? Is that what it's called?
Shadesmar, yeah.
Shadesmar. That was really interesting. And again, I think it was the beginning of the second book. It goes into it again. So this guy's pretty good. Clearly, he's got some experience with writing the series, but yeah, it's pretty great. I mean, the visual elements he plays really well so you can attach to those things, because it's a difficult thing to sort of encapsulate in somebody's mind. But he does it fair enough, and it's very much also Shallan's reaction of like, you're such an idiot. You're just going to go into the Shadesmar with no what do you call it? No fucking
idea, Stormlight.
No, like, what the fuck are you like? Yeah, it's like makes the point for us, so we know that it's extraordinarily irresponsible, and dangerous. But she doesn't know. But Shallan has all these abilities. And that's kind of the interesting things that started to come together for me. It's like, oh, so this radiance is a thing that seems to select certain people. It seems.
It's coming back into the world. It's been gone for a long time, but now it's starting to show up. We're seeing it in Jasnah, Shallan, and Kaladin. And it's also
Valinar's dreams. I mean, that's giving you pieces.
Yeah. And with Shallan and Shadesmar, there's also one of the parts we read, one of the death rattles we read in part 1. The guy talks about like a dark, I can't remember the way he describes it, is the sun in Shadesmar, and then the patterned heads, and he's talking about guys like that Shallan draws, she does the drawings of, and that kind of stuff. So he was obviously seeing into Shadesmar in that death rattle.
Yeah, well, and then and that was also huge too. When I guess maybe that was where it came from, where they talked about that basically there's, what is it? It's almost like a big hospital, but they're killing people. They're like doing experiments.
That's in Kharbranth, yeah.
Yeah, so to see the death rattles, to try to get information out of them, so that's what these are.
Yeah.
Not people that are dying of natural causes, which is what you're just inclined to expect that. There's war going on. You think these people are dying, even though you get little pieces of how they're dying, but you don't you don't know it's being procured. I mean, they're doing it to procure information.
Yeah, really not enough people die naturally, so they're bleeding people out, and trying to find like orphans or bums or people with nobody who's not there's not going to be anybody to report on it, and so they're just bleeding these people out and waiting for them to die. Or sometimes they do a death rattle, sometimes they don't. They're just murdering people.
Well, what was so interesting about it was, I remember a couple of them say like unreliable or somewhat unreliable, and you're like, wait, what? Like, so what is that? Like, so I just thought it was like, so there's priests or doctors that are just happen to be present and they're collecting this. And then you find out it's literally with intention.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dark.
Yeah. And that it's Taravangian that is doing it. You know who Taravangian is?
Yeah.
He's the one that they're talking about as like some doddering old, king.
And when we first see Jasnah we think she's using the Fabrial. Come to find out it's just which again, fucking genius, man. Because show it as if it's a thing, so people think, oh, it's that thing. It's all about that thing. It's not someone's ability. Fucking those things. Tremendous,
those things exist. Those are real.
Yeah.
We've seen other people use them, but she doesn't need them.
Yeah,
she's not using like those things consume. Spheres and the gemstones. They consume gemstones to use them, and they're very dangerous for the people who use them. What she's doing is her own thing. She just has similar to Zeth. He sucks in the Stormlight and uses it to jump off the walls and shit. She uses Stormlight to change objects, to do the same thing a Soulcaster does.
Yeah, when Shallan confronted her and said that thing was broken all the time, I was like, oh, shit, man. It completely spun things for me, It's so great, man. Really, really great. I forgot what we were talking about before that, but...
Yeah, that's why, because that's also why
Oh, Teravangian.
Yasna
so
didn't realize.
Teravangian.
Yeah, and that's also why Yasna didn't realize that Shallan jacked her. Is because it wasn't real to her. So why would she fucking think anything's up? Never worked in the first place.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that whole back and forth was intense. It gets really intense. I mean, it's always kind of intense because we're in on something. We don't know how much they know. We don't know how much they know. And then the whole thing with the assassin, which was like the clergy that was into Shallan, at least she thought it was. Then she's like, well, maybe he wasn't. And Yasna turning the strawberry jam into basically like rancid whatever because she, oh man, the whole thing. It's really great. It's really great as it kind of spins and then comes back around, because we get these other perspectives.
Yeah, it's so good too. Like Yasna, once she's confronted, like finally being like, "All right, fuck it, you're fucking good. I'll, I don't trust you. You're gonna have to earn back my trust and that kind of shit. But let's fucking do this. I need someone on my side. You got fucking powers."
Yeah, and then that's also what it becomes because it's like, well, it's kind of one of those situations where like, well, what are your choices here? And it just makes sense. I mean, she appeals to what Yasna really wants and maybe perhaps needs.
Yeah, and I mean,
the complexities
like worried about like world-ending events, and and so she sees someone who has powers similar to hers, and she's like, "Shit, I need this person."
Well, and the fact that Shallan
did something stupid,
and the fact that Shallan owns it, because when she comes out with it, you're like, "Damn, this is bold," and it's like, "Oh, that's what I meant by playing the cards fairly perfectly," because they both have each other in a corner. You know what I'm saying? Like it's again, man. It's I'm pretty impressed. I'm glad I stuck around, for the entire book. Not that I, that was it in at risk or anything, but yeah, it was quite a tremendous payoff.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book, and for the listeners, obviously we're not going to talk this randomly about the book and jump around each episode, but since a lot of these chapters we're not going to get to for weeks and weeks and weeks, when you come across them, you might as well like start the episodes by discussing where you're at and what's going on and that kind of shit, and because it's fun.
It's going to completely change. It's also going to completely change the dialogue from this point forward because now I know so much more about. Like I said, I got it all figured out now.
Yeah, got it all.
Might as well
all figured out.
Book.
Yeah.
So now I can really make them pop and sizzle like we do.
Yeah, I'll let you explain who the three guys are that meet what's his face in the first interlude chapter, Ishik. I'll let you explain who the three foreigners are that he talks to. You got it all figured out now.
I don't know. I know who they're looking for.
You said you have it all figured out. I'm gonna let you take it. You explain it to everybody.
Well, I'll figure it out once we get there. We got a few chapters before we'll get there.
Yeah.
One. We have one chapter.
Yeah. So you start racking that brain. But so we'll start off with chapter 11 today, Droplets. In this chapter, Kaladin hits his lowest point, decides he's going to go kill himself and jump off the cavern. What is it called? The
Honor Chasm.
Chasm, yeah. And he ends up, as he's just about to step off, Syl comes up with a poison leaf that makes him kind of smile and laugh, and she talks him out of killing himself, and then he decides he's going to fight to save the bridge crew, that he's going to make that his mission, is to protect them.
Yeah, the big transition. And kind of, I would say, one of the themes of the book, or a big theme, is like choosing, your own fucking path, basically. But yeah, it's huge.
Having for Kaladin, if you're his boss, like the big thing is he has to have a job, like he has to have like a purpose, and you want to try to make that purpose something he can actually accomplish. Because if he doesn't accomplish it, man, is that guy going to spiral down.
Well, and then I guess, in a way, he does really well if the circumstances are life threatening. So I'm not sure how you're going to do that. You know, if that's an
yeah,
OSHA
but
thing.
that he's willing to do those things. He doesn't necessarily have to do those things. You could probably put him on, like, make a really, really dope latrine for everybody and just focus on that, accomplish that task, get all these guys together, working together, build some camaraderie, start building stuff, make him a builder. That seems like a good job for.
Yeah, that would be a good job. That would be a good job for him. Yeah,
The highs, as far as the highs as a soldier and all that shit, are really fucking high for Kaladin. But man, those lows are so low that it's like, man, it might be the wrong industry for you.
Yeah, his ups and downs are extreme. That's for sure. But the life, it starts off with, the life of a bridgeman seems pretty sweet. They got all these these little fringe benefits of a blanket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No bed, just one thin
blanket
per bridgeman. Yeah. And they could, use it for cushioning or warmth. You could freeze or you could
a head wrap. You have a head wrap or cushion or warmth. Which, I mean, honestly, if you're really thinking about it, I think I'm going warmth. Probably. Yeah. If your shit's getting beat up like crazy, probably gonna
You're gonna ache warmth. If you're freezing cold the whole night and you're just clenched up, you're gonna ache anyways. So,
but like you said, Kaladin, his lows are pretty low. Instead of the warmth, he's standing in a puddle.
Yeah. he's choosing the worst of all paths. Oh, and before that, on the death rattle, the 3 of 16 ruled, but now the broken one reigns. So that you wouldn't get without understanding like what's going on. That's more of a big picture Cosmere type of thing. There's in the Cosmere universe, the number 16 is extremely important, and so there's like, especially in the Mistborn world, the number 16 is of massive importance, and you see it in a lot of the worlds. The number 16 is really big. 10 is really big here. Like you got the 10 heralds, and so 16 is real big. So when they talk about the 3 of 16, you'll eventually figure out what that means. And then, but now the broken one reigns. You eventually figure out what that means, what the 3 are and what the broken one is. But at this point, you don't know. And it would, even for like Taravangian and those guys, it'd be hard for them to exactly understand it, but they have figured it out. They understand what that means as well. But that's something we'll come across as we go further on. But yeah, and so Kaladin, he splashes through puddles that chilled and numbed his feet. That felt good. They were still sore from the bridge run earlier. That's how low things have gotten for him. Is like he's splashing through puddles and it's freezing his feet, numbing them, and he's like, much better.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. This is after his first bridge run. Is that right? Or is this no?
No, he's been going on bridge runs for a while.
Died.
Yeah,
like his brother.
Yeah, because that's how it starts off. It says the high storm eventually subsided. It was the dusk of the day. The boy had died. The day Syl had left him. It was the dusk of the day the boy had died. The day Syl had left him. Kaladin slid on his sandals, the same ones he had taken from the leathery-faced man on that first day, and stood up. He walked through the crowded barrack. Yeah, so he's been there for a while because he's lost all the people he was originally on the bridge crew with. All those people are dead, every one of them. And then he's had another crew come in, and all those guys died, and another one, and all those guys died. So he's seen multiple crews all get wiped out. But in the last chapter we read from Kaladin, chapter 9, like chapter 10 was when the flashback with his dad, but chapter 9, he talks about that kid that reminded him of Tian dying in front of him. We were like talking about the blood dripping down onto his eye and that kind of shit.
Yeah, it seems like that that really haunts him.
Yeah.
That's kind of the straw that broke the back.
The
so
description of it would be haunting.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you're just,
pretty terrible. And he's just standing there, like staring.
yeah,
brutal, man.
Yeah, it's just brutal. And so, and the fact that it reminded him of his brother, and obviously seeing what happens. Have you got to? Yeah, it told you what happened to his brother, right?
Yeah. I mean, we learned that he. Oh yeah, that he dies. Him and two other boys. He sprints over, but he's dead already.
Yeah. Yeah. So he, trying to protect his brother, unable to do it. So I mean, obviously,
it's a weird one to say he failed
him.
Weird one. I mean, again, I know he likes to take blame for shit, but he wasn't there. Like, no. I mean, he tried to get there, but it's an yeah. He's a special one, Kaladin. He's big on blame. He's big on taking responsibility for things that he had no control over.
Yeah, he likes to lift the weight of the world, put it on his shoulders. But so, but the fact that he looked at the kid like he was Tian, and then he sees him dying, and you know how devastating the loss of Tian was for him, it just shows what kind of state he's in. And so he starts heading towards the honor chasm, and you gotta love old Gaz, man. Dude's a fucking superstar, man. Out for a stroll, your lordship. And Gaz had fastened a metal basket on the wall outside of the barracks to recharge his spheres. So the Stormlight recharges these spheres, when they get used up, or they naturally, even if you don't use them like Kaladin does, sucking in the Stormlight, they do lose it just naturally over time. They lose that the brightness of the Stormlight leaks away, and so they recharge it in the Stormlight.
And when they talk about, there's a few times that I remember they talked about, like, you can take it to somebody to get it, like, infused. Is it just that they put it more safely in a place that gets, like,
correct?
That's out in a storm?
Yeah, they even mention that here. And it says there were safer ways to infuse spheres. Money changers would exchange done spheres for infused ones, or you could pay them to infuse yours in one of their safely guarded nests.
Mm.
So you could either exchange them, or you could pay them to charge them up for you during the next high storm.
Oh, financial advisors.
Yeah. Yep. Well, money lenders, and then So what are you doing, Gaz? Demanded the short, one-eyed man. Clutched the basket to his chest. I'll have you strung up if you've stolen anyone's spheres. Going to the honor chasm, Kaladin said quietly. His voice would barely be audible over the storm. Gaz shut up the honor chasm. He lowered his metal basket and made no further objections. There was certain deference given to men who took that road. Kaladin continued to cross the courtyard. Lordling, Gaz called. Kaladin turned. Leave the sandals in the vest, Gaz said. I don't want to have to send someone down to fetch them. You suck, dude.
Yeah, he's not a real sentimental guy. He's not one for sentiment, it seems.
No. Not like, hey, turn that frown upside down. Let me come over here. Let me give you a hug. Let me fucking rub your belly. Try to get you fucking cheered up. Doesn't do any of those things. He's just like,
leave the shoes.
Good.
Leave the shoes.
Don't waste all that good stuff you got on you.
I don't want to have to go get them.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
What
a fucking
Don't
scumbag.
make your work a big pain in the ass for me. Your suicide better not inconvenience me. Man, you are a fucking peach, Gaz.
It's kind of shit like that, though. Like, if that's me, I'd be like, all right, last thing I do, I'm murdering you.
I'm going, I guess Kaladin's at a point where he just doesn't give a shit at all, so those words don't even affect him. But yeah, in a normal state, I would just be like, dude, I'm going to stab you in the eye before I jump off, or I'm going to pick you up, throw you off, and then dive down with you.
I mean, you would almost feel like just like beat him to death with your sandals and vest.
Yeah.
Here, you want these? Yeah. This what you want? Yeah. Choke on this sandal.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbag. You
shove this sandal down your fucking face. Fucking Gaz, man. And I mean, part of it is just Gaz is in a horrible situation. It's not like he wants to be there. He doesn't want to be doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But they just put like such a terrible person there to begin with. He's not he's not a like great dude, and you put him in that environment and it just makes him worse.
Oh yeah, I think actually the perfect thing is pop that eye out.
Yeah.
Now he's got no eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's the move. That's the move.
Eyes and the tongue. Have fun.
Good luck, guys. Yeah. I had a feeling he's probably going to the honor chasm at that point.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough life for Gaz. That winning personality's not going to shine through without a tongue.
It was interesting to me that the way that Kaladin described the honor chasm, he described it as unnatural. Like, yes. So I was wondering, is this something that like is a result of battle or something, or it's been, you know what I'm saying? I guess it was, or is it a giant latrine? Like what? Like in terms of unnatural, I don't know. I wasn't sure what to make of that. I guess that is something
I still don't have an answer to. I mean, there are clues to what happened coming up in the second book that you're going to read, but even still, it's not for certain what happened. But, you know, the way he says it, like, no, this place wasn't natural. The land had been broken, and now it broke the people who came to it. Yeah, he's right. It's not natural. There's something happened to it. But can't really go into it. Well, when we eventually get to the second book and get over those chapters, we'll be able to speculate on it and it'll be one of the things we try to speculate on, is trying to figure out what the fuck happened at the Shattered Plains. But for now, it's not something I can speculate too much on without giving some spoilers away to shit that's going to be said in the second book. But yeah, that is something we're going to eventually speculate on.
Right on.
But I like he gets there and he's like, Liren had once explained that high storm rains were rich with nutrients. Storm wardens in Kolinar and Vadenar had proven that plants given storm water did much better than those given lake or river water. Why was it that scientists were so excited to discover facts that farmers had known for generations and generations? I love that aspect because it's so true to a lot of science and shit in the world. Like a perfect example of that is all the scientists of the day were saying that flight was impossible, that it couldn't be done, that what the Wright brothers were trying to do, like that kind of the guys trying to create flight, like it was an impossibility. There was no possible way to do it. And like the Wright brothers and shit, they're not, these guys weren't like hardcore scientists and shit. They were inventors. They just fucking, we're going to figure it out. Yeah. Like they didn't let, scientists deter them. And then once they figured out how to do it, then the scientists went back and then figured out why it was possible. But it took someone defying them and being like, no, you guys are wrong. We're going to fucking do it. We're going to show you. And then once they showed them, they're like, oh, guess it is possible. How was it possible? There's a lot of history. It's someone invents something who didn't know jack shit about science. He's just an inventor, comes up with an idea, or a businessman just selling a product and that kind of shit. They come up with this idea or this invention or this thing, and then the scientists, after the fact, figure out how it worked.
Yeah, that's interesting because a big part of, I guess you could say, science in itself or physics is like why the world is the way that it is, and then proving why there are limitations. And those are limitations until they're broken. And suddenly, I guess you can score 85 points in a game.
Many of the things that they say are impossible in the past, they were proven wrong that they are possible, and like they were completely wrong. Like, I mean,
science records are made to be broken.
Yeah, science
is where I was going with that.
scientists, if you take scientists, 500 years ago and you transported them to the world today, it would seem like magic.
Yeah.
Like just what we're doing, talking
yeah,
talking, through iPads on Skype and, recording
tell someone about
thing
electricity.
to show something across the entire world.
The idea of having artificial light, right?
Yeah. And so like none of them would think any of these kind of things were possible. It took people inventing them and figuring it out. But yeah, so I like that fact that he put that in there, because that is how a lot of science is done. It's, someone invents something and they're scrambling to figure out how the fuck they did it. But
Yeah.
and then Kaladin, man, like I love the arc in part 1 for Kaladin, because it starts off pretty good. Like you're like, all right, this is some badass fucking warrior is like swooping in to save that kid, kills a few dudes, and then it kind of ends where he like goes and kills a Bright Lord, and then you see there's a guy with a shard plate, and then next thing you know, he's a slave 6 months later, and then it is just straight downhill from there till you get to here, and then finally you start to valley back out. There's much of his arc is just it's such a roller coaster with going straight down and then starts climbing back up and then back down and back up. It's a roller coaster ride with this dude. But like,
yeah. Well, and especially here, like he's on his own, like because he had Syl, and then later he still has Syl, and then he has the rest of his group that can support him to some degree,
Yeah.
But yeah, his ups and downs are pretty rough.
Yeah, and then you get.
I mean, you know what? I think we probably nailed it when we were saying, it's like having to work a weekend when you thought you had it off,
Yeah, or fucking when the McRib is not being sold anymore.
Yeah,
can't get out of chicken nuggets.
Those two things, and yeah, the chicken nugget thing, that was another one. They never have them.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. Brutal. We're right there with you, Cal. He
does emphasize that theme, or a theme that is repeated throughout, is the idea with him and his father going back and forth about you can't save someone by killing, and they kind of debate it back and forth, and Kaladin debates it back and forth within himself. I guess Dalinar in a way kind of debates it as well, don't you think?
To an extent. I mean, he's more on doing the honorable thing. He does not seem to have a problem with killing per se. I don't think he goes that far. Like, he doesn't really tend towards pacifism. He's just more like, is killing these Parshindis, am I doing the right thing? Is this wrong? And he starts questioning the mission, not necessarily the killing. Like, he doesn't ever seem to have just a problem with like killing a bad guy. I don't think that would be a concern to him.
It starts to. I guess what I'm saying is he starts to question. Well, is this the enemy? Like, what do we actually?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Am I on the right mission? Am I doing the right thing? Because he's hearing that unite them. Then he starts thinking bigger picture. He's like, what if it's not just unite the Alethi? What if it's unite the world? And what if these fucking wars I'm doing wrong by fighting these wars?
That's really interesting, because he's like, they were lying to me, and then he's like, wait, I made these assumptions about what they were saying.
Yeah,
like, this is what was said. I had misjudged. They were talking to me. I'm just in the room.
Yeah,
I'm witnessing a conversation. They're not talking to me. So I'm trying to apply this to my life.
It's not even that they're not they're talking to him, but it's a pre-recorded message. It's like, here's the message I want you to hear, but we're not having a conversation here. This is like a voice. I left you a voicemail.
Yeah.
And he's thinking he took a phone call.
Their technology is not there yet. Just like to make text message, man.
Yeah. Dalinar, why won't he text me back?
Yeah, just left him in the lurch, man.
Yeah.
Caused him a lot of problems.
Yeah, someone pre-programmed in text messages to be delivered at random times. Keeps getting them like, this guy's never answering my questions. He sends me something, it semi-answers it, but then he throws in something that contradicts it. I don't get it. But yeah, so I love this part though, where it's like, you were right, Father, Kaladin whispered. You can't stop a storm by blowing harder. You can't save men by killing others. We should all become surgeons, every last one of us. He was rambling, but oddly, his mind felt clearer now than it had in weeks. Perhaps it was the clarity of perspective. Most men spent their entire lives wondering about the future. Well, his future was empty now. So he turned backward, thinking about his father, about Tien, about decisions. Once his life had seemed simple. That was before he'd lost his brother, before he'd been betrayed in Amaram's army. Would Kaladin go back to those innocent days if he could? Would he prefer to pretend everything was simple? No. He had no easy fall, like those drops. He'd earned his scars. He bounced off walls. He bashed his face and hands. He'd killed innocent men by accident. He'd walked beside those with hearts like blackened coals, adoring them. He'd scrambled and climbed and fallen and stumbled, and now here he was, at the end of it all, understanding so much but somehow feeling no wiser. Climbed to his feet on the lip of that chasm, and he could feel his father's disappointment looming over him, like the thunderheads above. He put one foot over the void. Kaladin. And then, that's Syl saying Kaladin. You get Syl fucking chiming in. That's so great, too, because, like, it's just... it's a microcosm of what he does in part 4 of building these crescendos. Like, he builds this great crescendo in that little section there of Kaladin talking about, like, giving his last little speech to his father and then running through and like, I'm fucking done. I've been beaten down and I'm tired of this shit. And then right as he's about to step off the cliff, Syl steps in and says his name, and then he pauses, and she hands him the leaf, and it's like, what is this? And Kaladin asks, she looked exhausted. These things are heavy. She lifted the leaf. I brought it for you. He took the leaf between 2 fingers. Blackbane poison? Why did you bring me this? He said harshly. And she's like, I thought it would cheer you up. Like, you seemed so happy when you had it. And you seemed so distraught when you lost it.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really the way to Kaladin's heart, Not roses, but flowers that can ruin your life. That's how you get to Kaladin.
The most dangerous poison. You fucking sweet little girl.
That's what makes him tick, man. Kaladin would definitely be the guy. Like, I don't know. I've had friends that will always date the woman with the most amount of problems, the most troubled. Like that, he's always looking, I don't know. He seems like he would be that dude where it's like, he's going to fix this problem.
It's such a great, with this little part with Syl is so great too, because you got like Kaladin about to commit suicide. So it's a pretty fucking heavy chapter. Yeah. And then like, Syl comes in, and Syl's just like so cheery and shit. Like, because he is so dark and dour and shit, like her cheerfulness is just like such a interesting mix with him. Like it wouldn't seem like it would mix, like this playful little fairy like creature and Kaladin, this brooding fucking dour dude that's like half the time is super depressed. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes he's not like always in the dumps, but when he's in the dumps, he's really in the dumps.
Dude, yeah, he just read his stat card of all the bad things he's ever done.
Yeah.
This is what my life has amounted to. I'm a piece of shit. I should have listened to my father. I've been wrong all along. Like, damn, dude.
And then she's like, you don't like it? I got you. I flew all the way over there. Got you this great gift, and you don't fucking like it? What is wrong with you? And, he's like, why do you care? Because I do, she said, cocking her head. I watched you, back in that army. You'd always find the young, untrained men and protect them, even though it put you in danger. I can remember, just barely, but I do. I failed them. They're dead now. They would have died more quickly without you. You made it so they had family in the army. I remember their gratitude. It's what drew me in the first place. You helped them. Which, now that she's an honor spread, that's what drew her to Kaladin. Is like those kind of things are honorable. Like, he was in it to protect the people. He wasn't fighting for the acclaim and notoriety and all that kind of shit. He wasn't trying to be famous, to be this famous warrior for the sake of being a famous warrior. He was trying to do these things to protect his people and also to get them out of there, to get them into a better army where they'd even be safer. It was all about protecting his men.
That part also, when you're first reading through it, is really telling, or it brings up a lot of questions about Syl. The fact that she remembers their gratitude. Because at least for me, it's like, I thought she was remembering what Kaladin experienced. Then there's sometimes she's remembering what she's experienced. Then she's remembering what people in his vicinity experience. It's like, wait, what? Like, how's she getting all of this information?
But what I think it was likely is that she was near them, she was around them, but she wasn't able to process the information. And then the more time she spends with Kaladin, the more she becomes herself, and like, her memories start coming back, and she starts thinking in more complex terms. Then she starts to understand some of the past events through new eyes. Similar to, like, I think of it as like, if you watch a movie when you're a kid and then you watch it, when you're older, and you see like how many hidden adult things were in the story, or like, when you're a kid and then you get a little older and you're like, it's like, suddenly, the world is a much more horny place, and there's a lot more sex and shit going on. You're just like, it's like, yeah, you missed it all when you were a kid. It was like that when you were a kid. You just didn't understand what people were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they hid it from you. But
yeah, it was subtle. It was subtly being suggested. You weren't getting the suggestion.
Yeah, and so now that she's becoming herself,
you didn't know what they were laughing at.
Yeah, exactly. And so now that she's becoming herself, she's remembering these things from these people. She just couldn't process the information back then, but she still has those memories. So I think that's what's happening. And yeah, so I mean, and that's what drew her to him. And there's also some other elements to it as well. We'll come across once you know more about Spren, that I can explain what was exactly going on there a little bit further. But
she gives them some pep talks. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, she's like, he's like, everything I touch withers and dies. He teetered on the ledge. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Those men in the bridge crew, Syl whispered, you could help them. Too late. He closed his eyes, thinking of the dead boy earlier in the day. It's too late. I failed. They're dead. They're all going to die, and there's no way out. What is one more try then? Her voice was soft, yet somehow stronger than the storm. What could it hurt? He paused. You can't fail this time, Kaladin. You've said it. They're all going to die anyways. Thought about Tien and his dead eye staring upward. I don't know what you mean most of the time when you speak, she said. My mind is so cloudy, but it seems that if you're worried about hurting people, you shouldn't be afraid to help the bridgemen. What more could you do to them? One more try, Kaladin. Syl whispered, please, one more try. And I love he starts running in, like, the men in the barracks, huddled, frightened, scared. One more try. And then, it was cold and wet, but he felt tiny, warm candle flame of determination come alight inside him. He clenched his fist, crushing the blackbane leap inside, then dropped it over the side of the chasm, lowered the other hand, which had been holding Syl. I love that too, that one more try.
I love the candle flame of determination that comes alight. So just by the idea of, like, there's something I can do, completely changes him.
Yeah.
And even when he goes back, it's great because when he goes back and he sees them, he's like, did they look this pathetic before?
Yeah.
Because he's changed. He's like, was it really this bad? And it's like, yeah, dude, you've changed.
Yeah.
Now it looks pathetic because
snapped out of the haze.
You're like, let's go. Yeah. It's great, man. Just again, that comes in with that theme I was talking about, where it's you're choosing your path, you're choosing how you're looking at this, you're choosing what you can do, and everybody's befuddled by his actions.
It's so great too, because he comes strolling back in, and fucking Gaz, of course, with his too cowardly to go through with it, your lordship. And Kaladin just like comes up, snatches him up by the throat,
I love it,
slams him to the ground. And Gaz like tries to smack him. He just like swats the hand away, then kicks his feet out and just drops him to the ground and just pinned him down, choking him. And it's like he's got that great line where he goes, "The shit,
The world just changed."
Yeah, yeah. All right. The world just changed, Gaz. Kaladin said, leaning in close. I died down at that chasm. Now you got my vengeful spirit to deal with. Fucking love that fucking line.
Yeah, it's
the world
great.
just changed, Gaz.
It's such a great. I mean, he's already like about to die. He's about to kill himself. It's all dark, disturbing. And then So comes in, kind of light and cheery, and it's funny. There's actually comic relief with her.
Yeah,
with the Leafs and everything, which is it's kind of crazy to think how that it manages, but it works. And then for him to come back and like get this little flicker of determination, and then boom, he grabs him by the throat. It's so satisfying to read that.
yeah. Especially, I mean, that's like we were just talking
So
about.
great.
Like when he's like talking shit, we're like, go fucking shove your sandal down his fucking throat.
Yeah.
And he finally,
funny.
he finally does go and throttle him.
Well, it's so great too because we're thinking that, but then we're also like, I get it though. He's depressed, blah blah blah. But then when he comes back and does it, yeah, it's just so much more satisfying.
Yeah,
It's and the fact that I love the world just changed. Like the world just changed. You're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like all of this is different now. And the fact that he could basically kill him right in this moment.
Yeah.
There's nothing Gaz can do about
dude,
it.
Bridge 4 is mine. You do your little thing, but that fucking bridge crew is mine. You're gonna fucking stay out of our way. And he's like, and if you think, thinking about doing something stupid, just remember, I'm already fucking dead. I will fucking kill you. And there's nothing more they can do to me. He's finally like, because we've talked about that. It's like at some point, when the torture, what they do for their day-to-day life is torture. So it's like at some point, like how much worse can it get? You might as well go fucking ape shit and start killing people. Killing all these guys.
It goes
so like they're
these...
teetering on that edge. Like once someone like snaps like that, what are you gonna say? Like, I'll fucking whip you? It's like, well, I'll kill you and then take the whipping. So what?
Yeah.
What's the alternative? I'm gonna get fucking arrows through my eye. It's painful death no matter what. Yeah,
it's painful life, right?
Yeah.
So I love and then it's actually quite. To me, it was very surprising when he's like, and I'll pay you. Like basically, he's gonna give Gaz money. And I remember when I first read that, I'm like, what? And then you're, oh, okay. He's basically indebting him. He's creating a situation where he's hoping at least it's enough that Gaz won't kill him or get him killed, right?
Yeah, because
if I keep him around, at least I'm getting money.
There's the fear, like before they get to me, I'll get to you. But then, Gaz could still be like, I'll just wait and I'll tell them when you're fucking in your barracks asleep. And they'll come snatch you up while you're sleeping. We'll bring 20 men. So he's still got to come up with another way to keep Gaz on the line other than just the threat of violence. And when Gaz, he's risking all his money like to get it charged up, and there like he seems to be pretty fucking desperate to begin with, that he's going out and that early into the end of a high storm.
Yeah, I think Kaladin's very good at reading the situation in that sense as well. It's a gamble either way, but again, like you said, what's he got to lose here? You know? So he's going with something, and he reads situations quite well.
And then
it's pretty great because now you're also seeing how he's positioning. He's working through how's this going to work. And then like we get the plan when he goes to Taft. I don't know if I'm skipping over something, but we get that him going through with it, which is fucking great.
Yeah, he comes up and he sees them, and like you said, he's like, "What the hell is wrong with these guys?" And he realizes, that it's not them; it's he had changed, and he says, like the line, like Kaladin Stormblessed was dead, but Kaladin Bridgman was of the same blood, a descendant with potential. And then
new chapter for old Callie here.
Yeah.
He's starting a new chapter of his life.
Instead of being Stormblessed, now he's Bridge Boy.
It's not exactly like leaving one job for another, like we experience in our lives.
It's
Or
like
moving.
they needed to have a part where Adolin was like, what's up, bridge boy? He's like, it's Kaladin Bridge Man, not a bridge boy. I'm a bridge man. I
He
wanted
does
it
call
every
him that,
time.
doesn't he? Yeah,
He
does
calls him
call
Bridge
that.
Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he calls him
yeah,
Bridge
that's
Boy,
right.
but because he calls himself Kaladin Bridge Man in this one, like once
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Adolin started calling him Bridge Boy, it was like so bad wanting Cal to be like, so I'm not a Bridge Boy, I'm a Bridge Man.
That's funny.
It would
I
have
forgot
lowered my
about.
opinion of Kaladin if he
Yeah,
did it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it still would have been hilarious for me.
You're like, wow, so he's a little bit less secure than I thought
Yeah,
he was.
yeah,
Especially in that moment. But yeah, I'd forgotten about that initial meeting because I mean, next time they meet on the Shattered Plains, it's pretty intense.
yeah,
And
yeah,
actually, he's yelling at Adolin.
yeah.
He even like yells it
Commanding
down to
him.
her. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
Kaladin. His swings are
Yeah.
like his pendulum swings are massive,
Yeah.
absolutely massive.
And then so goes up. First one he meets is Taft. He's like, "What's your name?" And the man was older, with drooping cheeks, brown eyes, close cropped, white salted hair. His beard was short, and he didn't have a slave mark. Your name? Kaladin repeated firmly. Storm off, the man said, rolling over. And I Taft is a great fucking character. Like you slowly but surely get to learn a little bit more of him in this book, but he's a great character that you grow to like him, like Teft and Rock and Lopin.
Goncho?
Yep. Moash, like those are all
Moash was
great.
the hardest one to sort of get him to come to his side, right?
Yeah.
One of the harder ones, and then he becomes like pretty much the most loyal. So if I remember right, so Taft kind of sees the radiance in him, right? Like he
Yes.
recognizes the potential,
Yeah.
everything. There definitely seems to be more to Taft, given his history that gets explained, what we learn about him. It seems something's going on that he's surviving all these bridge runs, that he's still around. It seemed like that to me. It seems like there's something more to it. I don't know. Well, and
It
then
seems
the
like,
fact
hold
that
on,
he
say that
knows
again.
the history, the fact that he's surviving all these bridge runs, that he's still around, that he's, he's been, I think he was a soldier, then keeps getting demoted, but then also that he sees the radiance. Like, why would he even know what this is? Why would he have? It seems like he has some background. He understands some of the mythology or whatever you want to call it, that he ends up noticing in Kaladin. If I remember right, he even doesn't he say at one point it's you or you're something like that? Like
He's telling Kaladin what is happening to him, but and then his information is limited on it. He's like, look, this is all I know. He's like, I don't fucking, it's like, I don't know like the insides and outs of this shit. I'm just telling you what I know, and it's, this limited amount. But yeah, he does tell Kaladin, like, what he basically tells him what he is before Kaladin knew what he was. We learn eventually.
So
you'll learn why. I can't remember. I thought they say it in the first book, what a little bit of his past, but they might not. It might not get to where he tells what happened, his past, how he became in the bridge crew, and all that kind of stuff. Once you understand that, then you understand kind of how he recognized Kaladin as a Radiant. But I don't want to say it until I'm sure that it's came up. I'll try to go through. I'm going to listen to book one all the way through again before the next recording to get back up, so I got a fresher memory on where you're at in these books.
What it reminds me of. It seems like he's Omar Epps being told, "You got the juice."
Yeah,
That's what it's like.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
And he's trying to understand what that means.
Yep.
He doesn't know what it means is you're going to play basketball on the roof of a building and some guy's going to fall off. That's what's going to happen.
It's going to be depressing.
You got the juice.
Yeah, you got the juice.
If I remember right, a guy goes to try to smack a backboard and his hand goes directly through the backboard and he goes flying off the building.
I
If I
don't
remember right.
remember that scene at all.
I
Like,
don't
that
remember.
sounds
I don't remember.
insane.
It's kind of weird to try to remember because it's not even like a great movie. But Tupac's really good in it. But
Yeah.
it's not like a great movie by any means. But I thought
No,
I
there's
remembered
a
that
lot of
image.
those movies. Like, there's that one, and then Tupac was in another one.
Poetic Justice.
Well, he was in one where he was like a gangster. Like, I remember like him pulling he like always carried around
The
a razor blade in
That was
his
a
mouth.
basketball. That was a basketball movie.
I can't think of the name
Above
of it.
the Rim.
But
Above
yeah.
the Rim.
Yeah, Above the Rim. Yep. Yeah, Above the Rim, and then had Menace to Society, who Tupac was supposed to be in Menace to Society, but he beat up
Lorenz Tate.
Well, yeah, he was supposed to play that character, but he beat up the director or producer.
Yeah. I think it was the same guy that did Dead Presidents. The same director, I think.
Could be. I can't remember. But yeah, bunch of those gangster, fucking Crips and Blood type gangster movies. But yeah, and so yeah, Teft is exactly like those characters and those movies. But so he tells Teft, get some rest. He's like, we're gonna have a hard day tomorrow. How do you know? Teft asked, rubbing his bearded chin. Because we're bridgemen, Kaladin said, standing. Every day is hard. Teft hesitated, then smiled faintly. Collect knows that's true. And then it finishes with Syl lighted on his leg as he sat, whispering the names of the men to himself. She looked encouraged, bright, happy. He didn't feel any of that. He felt grim, tired, and wet, but he wrapped himself in the responsibility he had taken, the responsibility for these men. He held to it like a climber clung to his last handhold as he dangled from a cliffside. He would find a way to protect them. Which is, I think it's something good that Sanderson did for people, especially for younger people. Like that's 100% something that if you're a young person who is struggling, with like depression and that kind of stuff, one of the things to do to help yourself is to find things to be responsible for and to put yourself into, being responsible for others and to care for others, to put a burden on your shoulder. It's like counterintuitive.
Yeah, but you think you're not able, but you take ownership and you put the onus on yourself to be able to do something for someone else, and it completely transforms you.
Yeah, I mean, you see that with a lot of people when they have kids and that kind of stuff. I mean, they fucking become a different person.
Well, one thing you didn't mention that I just wanted to mention in case people forget. He went through the entire tent or whatever they're in, and did it to each man, prodding or threatening until the man gave his name. They each resisted. It was as if their names were the last things they owned and wouldn't be given up cheaply, though they seemed surprised, perhaps even encouraged that someone cared to ask. So just by doing that, it's not even that crazy a thing. My personality, that'd be very difficult for me to do something like that, to walk around and ask people their name, like something like that. Mm-hmm. In this circumstance, obviously it's much more difficult because these people are even resisting you, but to be able to do it, and he knows the position they're in because he's in their position. He's had this transformation by nearly killing himself. They haven't. They're still waiting to die, basically. So he's going around and basically giving them hope just by showing there's something that can be done. He just ends up being the example, and then everybody follows. And that's why they're so fucking loyal to him. Not only that, he also brings them, the meal. He brings them, like, the camaraderie. He brings them, like, something to live for, something to look forward to, something to actually even enjoy. And it's, simple things, but it's fucking massive, instead of just stewing in shit.
Yeah.
Which everybody can stew in shit. But no, it's a really good point that you bring up. It's an inspiring thing for writers to achieve and to strive for, is just in the sense of being able to give someone that they can cathartically experience something that you do in your own life. At some point, if you're of any success, if you're at all experienced, you've gone through something at some point that was difficult to transition into. And this is an example. And like you said, if you're young and you haven't experienced it, it's even more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something like responsibility. It's not something that, you think you don't want it. You think you don't want responsibility, but without responsibility, it's hard to be a fucking functioning human.
It's actually interesting you mention in terms of it being counterintuitive, because if you're trying, like, part of human instinct is make things as easy as you possibly can for yourself.
Yeah.
But to do that, you would want the least amount of responsibility possible, so you're not held responsible for anything. So you're avoiding a lot of potential catastrophe, and altercations and things of that nature. But you're also not experiencing, and you're not growing.
Yeah.
Right. You're just basically stuck in the same position and just basically experiencing what you're experiencing. You're not going to grow in that type of a circumstance.
Yeah, I'm. It's there's not a lot of people who take the easiest path in life and just every single aspect of their life, they go down the easiest path, and then that they're super happy people.
Yeah, that doesn't seem likely. It doesn't seem likely.
You're not gonna find happiness that way. You might not find happiness, period. But you can give your life meaning through other means. Just because you're not, life is hard and you're not happy all the time doesn't mean like you won't ever be happy.
So you're saying life is hard and then you die is not really the best phrase to live by.
No, that is not a good motto for life. The shit
kicker idioms of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck, man.
I did my good deed for the day. That's
life's
another
a bitch and then you die. Like, and they say that like that whole life's a bitch and then you die, like that's said to be like uplifting or something. And it's like,
it's very strange. It's supposed to be like succinct. And that's why I said it's not really in the same vein, but it is to a degree of that's my good deed for the day. Like,
yeah.
What? So you did one thing and you're announcing it?
Yeah.
So you like want credit for it, and you're announcing you're not going to do anything else that's good.
Yeah. Rest of the day, watch the fuck out.
What the fuck, man?
I got a clean slate. I can do whatever the fuck I want now.
What's so wild is that those are the types of sayings that just get repeated and repeated and repeated, and they just become part of like the vernacular. It's so strange.
I try to, first thing in the morning when I wake up, try to do a good deed because I want as much time throughout the rest of the day to really fuck shit up. Do some bad shit.
Don't look at me to help.
Yeah.
The rest of that day, old lady crossing the street, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, you need help with your bags? Nope.
Let me take your bags for myself. Grocery shopping for the day. See you, old lady. Sorry, already did good deeds. I'm done. Only bad deeds the rest of the day.
Pretty low quota.
Yeah.
Pretty low quota. Low bar. So you're saying raise that bar.
Yeah.
Raise the bar up. Get the juice.
Yeah. Get the juice. Just be Tupac in his movies.
Whoa. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah. Watch his movies and emulate him. That's how you should live your life.
Your tongue's going to be all sliced up from thinking that's cool, having a razor blade in your mouth. A la Above the Rim. His character had a razor blade in his mouth. Yeah.
Yes, you should always have a razor blade in your mouth because Tupac did in his movies, and you should emulate his life in movies. But that is all I got to say on Chapter 11, the end of Part 1.
I have tons more to say, but I'm going to leave it. Actually, there was one thing. I guess it doesn't matter, but I did have a note that he still mentioned Amaram as an enemy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of that guy.
Oh, yeah. Perhaps Kaladin would die in the next bridge run, or perhaps he would break into the strain and give Amaram one final victory. But as he settled down on the ground, he felt the tiny warmth burning steadily within him. So even within his, like, got something going here, even in that, he's like, oh, Amaram wins again. If he dies. Like, it's his death is focused towards that dude that fucked him over.
Once you find out, like, what Amaram did, you really understand why he did it, and like it's like, yeah, he's kind of a good dude. Like I appreciate that. I think he did the right thing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like everybody agrees with Amaram and thinks Kaladin's just overreacting. Really,
he miscast what was done. No, I don't think anyone would agree with that.
Everybody realizes that if anybody deserves that shard blade, it's Amaram.
I will say there is more there. However, that said, I don't think it's as clear cut as you're saying. There is more complexity to it. That's one thing that Sanderson has been able to pretty much achieve throughout, is that there is complexity where you can grant Amaram, in a way, can understand why he did what he did. But yeah, it's still.
It's if you're familiar with the King Killer series, it's a very Amir type of attitude.
Yeah. Yep.
From Amaram. I'm not sure that I agree with him on whether the ends justify the means in that situation, but that's the way he justifies it in his head.
That's interesting. The death rattles remind me of that too.
Yeah, there is a lot of people doing some dirty shit that are just like, well, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, we want information, bro. We're trying to solve this puzzle.
If I don't do this, the world would be worse off. Like, maybe, but you could be wrong, and you're doing some really dirty shit.
Well, what if it's science?
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The science is telling
you. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta
break some eggs.
Another, great phrase. These are great. Again, these tie in with our great phrases of life is shit, and then you die.
Hey, life's a bitch.
Gotta break some eggs. You want to make an omelet?
Yeah. But that's it for me on that one. All right, so interlude 1 is titled Ishik, and in this chapter, Ishik is a man from the Purelake. He's a Purelaker, and he's going to a meeting with 3 foreigners.
I like this world, man. I completely forgot about this until reading back through it, and it's really quite interesting. I know it's a place completely on like another side of the map, it seems.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different way of life. This guy's perspective, he kind of reminds me of Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, look at them with their fucking shoes, or like, what is it? Oh, they have their feet all up, and they're all looking at him like he's fucking weird. I bet his feet are disgusting, this guy. Unless he's like got webbed, some strange different type of skin. You would think.
Yeah,
I mean, your feet are in water all the time. I mean, I guess maybe it acclimates, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that would do. Like consistent water on your feet. Maybe keep it hydrated. Maybe it'd be good for your skin.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of funny the way that he sees, against the culture clash stuff. That is really interesting to me. When you say he's a Purelaker, does that mean he's a Milwaukee Buck?
I don't know. Why are they the Purelakers?
Because that's where the Lakers originally were. They were in Minneapolis Lakers.
Okay, but you said Milwaukee Bucks. That's not even the same fucking state. Fucking, and throwing in fucking weird references and then get it completely wrong.
That is something that's kind of funny, though. The Los Angeles Lakers. There's no fucking lakes in LA.
Yeah.
But still.
What are you talking about? Los Angeles. Oh, there's the river. Los Angeles River.
Yeah, the LA River. Yeah, it's a fucking. Yeah, that's a great place to visit.
I remember like the first time someone was like, "That's the LA River." It's like, that's not a river. It's like a sewage system or something.
You mean the pavement where what's his face? Yeah. Edward Furlong chases Terminator 2? That's the LA River?
Yeah. It's like concrete. It's like a concrete sewer system or something, like a drainage system.
It's a fun place to drive in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And it makes for good scenes in Terminator 2. But other than that, it's a big place for trash. And for water, where you don't see much because it hardly ever rains in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing, a drainage system that they call a lake or a river.
That's fucking Los Angeles, man. Like I wouldn't, yeah, I couldn't imagine anywhere else. And maybe there are other cities where they call the fucking drainage system a river. But it is a good source for the reason if you're ever anywhere by L.A. River and there's helicopters at night. Typically, that means someone ran down there to try to hide from the cops under an underpass. So that's fun. It's a good source for a lot of homeless like shanties, trash, and people running from the cops. Beautiful river.
Yeah, it's
a nice place to be.
If you're looking for some fishing in Los Angeles, got a river fucking perfect for you.
Build yourself a raft, enjoy the rapids. It's good.
So we get this Ishik character who's completely different from any of the people we've met so far. Talks differently, his personality's different, his outlook on life is different. Says he wore lake sandals on his submerged feet and a pair of knee-length breeches. No shirt, new Raleigh forbid. A good Purelaker never covered his shoulders when the sun was shining. A man could get sick that way, not getting enough sunlight. Getting that vitamin D, man. This dude has got an abundance of vitamin D.
Yeah, he's all about the vitamin D. All about the fish. Fish that basically cure all kinds of problems.
Yeah, dude. This dude seems like he would be like one of on the paleo diet and wearing. This dude would be wearing Vibrams.
Yes.
Paleo diet, hardcore hiker, fitness guy.
Yeah.
Although he also seems. Well, yeah, he would be doing that during the day, but then at night he's fucking stoner, sitting on the beach, just fucking getting blazed every day.
Well, I was gonna say at the end, his whole back and forth with, well, maybe I should just chill with whatever this woman is. I was thinking he should just kick back, get some nice Vibrams or water socks,
Yeah,
and let Mabe or whatever her name is make him some fish head stew and just chill, man.
This dude would get along with Spicoli really well.
Yeah,
him and Spicoli would be right on the same page. Especially with the getting there to the meeting late. And Spicoli,
and he's
if it's our time, I thought why not get some pizza?
He is very much who the fuck follows time? What are you talking about? Who fucking adheres to that shit? Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, all he's basically doing, it sounds like, is he just wades in water and looks for exotic fish.
Yeah,
this is what he does, and then he goes to this broad, and it's very much the system. It seems that they have is very much just based on I do you favor, you do me favor. It's just very much I did you a solid, now you owe me.
Yeah. It's. I'd be curious to hang out more at the Purelake and see what is up with these people, because it's a very laid back, laid back environment. But he mentions only 5 fish swam in Ishik's buckets, and 4 were of the dullest, most common variety. The tides had been irregular, as if the Purelake itself was in a foul mood. Bad days were coming. Sure as the sun and tide, they were. So he sees a bad omen, which is, and we see that with Yasna, and that's her kind of thing. And then Dalinar, a lot of people are seeing bad omens. So there's something to that. It's not just with Dalinar's dream and with Yasna, it's not, it's not just empty things when he says that. For whatever reason, they can there's something to them in that lake that grants them some kind of foresight.
Yeah, that does seem to be, that tone seems to be pretty consistent. Yeah, that something's changing in the world. And the fact that there's 3 guys looking for somebody, it kind of feeds that energy of there's I don't know, some type of ominous direction going on.
Yeah. You don't learn a lot about the Purelake in the book, and so you learn a little bit more, but you don't learn a ton about the Purelake.
No, in terms of a chapter set, I think this is all I remembered.
In this book,
That's set in
I mean, in the series.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the series. You don't learn
Okay.
much about Purelake, and so this is some of the only information you're going to get. We get like the Purelake was life itself once this land had been claimed by a king. Sella Tales, the nation had been called one of the Epoch kingdoms. So formerly a big kingdom of the Epoch age, and then get Ishik was a Purelaker first and foremost by tide and son he was. So but there's just barely any information that we got off of what the fuck's going on with this Purelake, but there's obviously something going on because when we meet the three foreigners, these are three people not from this fucking planet. We have, but before we get to them, we got, other people walked about here moving with the same slow gait. It was possible to run through the water, but there was rarely a reason. What could be so important that you had to go make a splash and ruckus get into it? I love this dude's. He's like got that super fucking stoner, vibe to him, like a 20-year-old, like, hey man, just fucking relax.
He even sleeps on a raft on the lake. Like, he's like, you don't need a house. Like, why would you want to live in there? Just sleep out here. Everything's out here. Everything's out here, man. Yeah. Nature gives you everything you need, bro. Like, it's very much his attitude.
Soak in the rays. What are you doing?
It's definitely got that vibe throughout this whole, and it's through the lens of this guy, but and then also as you read on, you start to realize it's a massive lake. Like, it's fucking huge. So no wonder he's just kind of moving throughout this lake. That's what he does all day. And then he goes to Mabe, and then he kind of like goes back. And that's the vibe we get, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and Mabe's house was near the center of the village. Ishik wasn't sure what made her want to live inside the building. Most nights, he's sleeping outside. Love that aspect. Like, what a fucking idiot, sleeping inside. And then we learned that Purelake drained into pits and holes when the storms came, and so you just shoved your raft into a crevice between the two ridges of stone and huddled up next to it, using it to break the fury of the tempest. The storms weren't so bad out here as they were in the east, where they flung boulders and blew down buildings. Oh, he'd heard stories of that sort of life. New Raleigh said he never had to go to such a terrible place. So the high storms are not as bad there, but also why would the storms drain the lake unless they're pulling the water from the lake?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's warmer here, but yeah, the whole idea of it draining was interesting to me because, well, I know, well, so like there's like certain neighborhoods like in Florida, they have ponds, and a big part of the ponds is it helps with draining the rain off of the fucking roads and shit. But I don't know. I don't know why you would expect the water would rise, not lower.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So where's it going? I don't know.
Yeah,
no, it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't have a good idea on that one either. But yeah, like hearing like a lake drains into pits and holes when the storms come, that just seems so weird. It doesn't, like, why wouldn't it drain if it drain? Like, yeah, like is someone like pulling a fucking block it, pulling the stopper out of the bottom of the lake? I don't understand how that happens. Like, why wouldn't the water go down those holes if they could from the beginning? Water should be, if there's holes in the ground that water can seep into, it would.
Yeah.
So I don't get what's going on there. I would like to know more about the Purelake and understand it better, to understand what the hell why that part right there is just something that sticks out to me. Like, I don't get it.
I like Ishik's whole thing where he pities those that had to live in the cold. Why don't they just come here? And then he's like, well, I don't want everybody to come here. But he's like, he can't fathom people not wanting to live where he lives. He's like, it's perfect here. You have everything you need. Why would you want to live anywhere else? It's kind of funny to me. I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, people are like that in certain, circumstances. But
you know what? Now that I think about it more on the Purelake, on the water draining, it might have something to do with a perpendicularity. You don't know what that is, so I'm not going to explain it. But just for the audience, we'll come back to that because I think I think it might have something to do with maybe a perpendicularity. Maybe there's something is happening with the high storms that involves a perpendicularity. When that perpendicularity is pulled away into a high storm, it creates space for the lake to drain to. So that could be something that could explain it, because there's got to be something that disappears, that gets out of the way for the water to drain. It wouldn't just drain on its own.
There would have to be, there'd have to be displacement, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I really like, they do it. He does a good job throughout here of having this religion. And when they kind of, I guess it comes up when the three guys are there, when they think they know about the religion, and then he explains it to us. It's really funny to me. I like the whole the dichotomy of, they have what is it? Two religious. There's New Purelake and his brother, and the whole thing is they worship the brother, but they pretend they worship the other brother to appease him.
Yeah,
something like that. It's really interesting. So he doesn't get jealous and then try to overcome the other.
Their real god, the younger brother of the real god, gets jealous, so they pretend they worship the younger brother so that they can worship the real god in secret without him getting all mad.
So they say one name out loud, and then the other one is always insinuated in their mind or between one another. To me, that really makes for what would be interesting kind of jokes between the two, and kind of, you know what I'm saying? Unspoken humor.
Yeah.
That would exist. I don't know. It's an interesting. I like what he did there with that. Those, it's idolism. It's dogmatic idolism, which is it's an interesting spin.
Yeah, it's a unique culture.
Yeah, because early on reading it, I'm assuming, okay, so one is God, the other's the devil, and this guy's real focused on each. But then you find out what it actually ends up being. So it's interesting.
So he goes into this place where he's meeting these guys, into Mabe's place. She eyes him, good fishing, terrible. Ah, well, your soup is free today, Ishik, to make up for Bun Macaque's cursing. Thanks much kindly, he said, taking a steaming bowl from her. She smiled. Now he owed her enough bowls, and he'd be forced to wet her. Like that. He doesn't seem like he's just screwing around there. It seems like he's being yeah, man, if I owe her enough, then I have to fucking marry her. She gives me too much food, I become indebted to her.
That's one of the things I'm questioning the system here. If it's just because there's buildings, there's people living in buildings. So I'm wondering, is he the village idiot type dude, or is the dichotomy between the fisherman and her? Is it just for the two of them, and then they have this little agreement, or is it the culture itself in a bigger sense?
Seems the culture in itself, shows him talking to that other guy, and if he's the village idiot, I doubt he's going to be the prized husband material that, this lady who's running a business would be like, let me try to do what I got to do to fucking check this dude up.
I was really going to one extreme. I don't really mean necessarily village idiot, but a sense of, there's a bit of a caste.
And he's getting hired by these three foreigners to go and search for Hoyd. So he's got to be, at least it seems to be, from his two interactions with the people, his knowledge of the fishing and all that, and traveling all the different places, it seems like he's probably got his shit pretty together for these people. But yeah, I think what it is if she gets him to eat 30 free bowls of chili and he doesn't repay her, then he has to marry her.
So they have the punch card where you go to Subway, and 5 you get a free sub. So it's in reverse. There's a
she's got him on 7 punches right now, but he was able to he was able to withstand the 8th punch on this one, and now she had to take one of the punches and give it back because he gave her such a good piece of meat, piece of fish.
Yeah, Good fish, yeah. That's what is it? Good for the
Cold grill.
aching joints.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
cold
for
grill.
aching
It was a very
joints.
lucky. Well, yeah, cured aching joints for a good month after you ate it, and sometimes let you see when friends were going to visit by letting you read the shapes of the clouds. Maybe had quite fondness for them on account of the finger aches new Rollick had sent her. One cold grill would be 2 weeks of soup, and would put her in debt to him. 2 weeks of soup, and soup keep you feeling good for a month.
Well, and then
They seem like, man, that's a super healthy community. Like they're fucking eating fish, and it's not even just fish; it's like super special fish that cures what ails you, and fucking getting
fish
out
oil.
in the sun, exercising. And it's a healthy little community. No violence, so they're not even living like
As
a
far as we
brutish
know,
lifestyle.
yeah. Well, that's why he's so laid back, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's chilling. And that's why he's also like, why doesn't everybody live here?
Yeah.
Sleeping on a mat?
I feel him. Like when I hear
lake?
about like what
Feels
everybody
great.
else is, like when I like read about Kaladin's life, I'm like, yeah, Kaladin, you should go to the Purelake. It's way better. Way better.
Yeah. I bet he'd be a pretty good fisherman too, you know?
There is nobody that will like fucking brand you and make you a slave just to keep you fucking quiet.
Well, one thing that is for sure, I mean, we do get that the Pure Lake is peaceful, and we know the East has lots of wars. I think it's even stated in the chapter where it's like plainly stated.
Yeah, it's got to be just not well known enough because, yeah, you would think people would just flock to it.
Yeah.
Man, he talks about that, like, you know, if they found out like how great it is here, everybody would want to live here. It's like, seems hard, you know, the high storms are not as bad up there, and got, you know, a pretty fucking
It's warm,
easy, you know, a much easier life than, you know, what we hear about from the Lethe and all these other groups. So, yeah,
it seems like from the pictures we get of these other groups, you're either of like the clergy, which I always forget their name, or there's not a lot of people. I mean, there's a giant library, so I guess there are quite a few people that study. Oh, Ardents.
Yeah, but just think
so a lot of
like,
them are Ardents, or
the Shattered Plains. Like the Shattered Plains.
Well, no, I was going to say
that. I mean, there's it's hard to grow food. It's a fucking war zone. Like it's a nasty, brutish life.
Other than that, it seems like you're a soldier.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're not a soldier, you're someone who's supplying the war machine. That's kind of it. It seems like that's basically the functionality in that world. And yeah, it's the Shattered Plains, like you said. So they got these, you know, rock buds and, you know, crops of some sort. But yeah, this seems like a better way to live, man.
Yeah.
Sleeping on a raft. Although when he explains the high storm comes, yeah, you just, you know, wedge a raft and then get under it. He's like, that doesn't seem that great, but you know,
no.
I guess it's okay.
The other ones is like the high storm comes and throws boulders at you.
Yeah. I guess that's a good comparison. Yeah. There you can just lay on the ground. Yeah. If you're elsewhere, you're gonna get killed if you're outside. Yeah. That's a good comparison. Yeah. One's a little bit better than the other.
So we meet these foreigners though. There were 3 of them. 2 were dark-skinned Makabaki, though they were the strangest Makabaki he'd ever seen. One was thick-limbed, where most of his kind were small and fine-boned, and he had a completely bald head. The other was taller, with short dark hair, lean muscles, and broad shoulders. In his head, Ishik called them Grump and Blunt, on account of their personalities. So these are 2 from characters that are in different stories. It's not important enough to like where it'd be like, oh shit, man, such a massive spoiler if you know who they are. You probably won't even remember it if you go back and read those books. But so I'm just going to talk about them.
The scar across the scalp.
Well, that's one of them. And then, but Blunt is Bayon from Taldane system, and that's his White Sand graphic novels. He's got a trilogy of graphic novels titled White Sand. Bayon is one of the characters from there. Grump is from the Elantris story. That's Kaladin. He's from the Cell system in Elantris. And then Demu is the other one. The third man had light tan skin like an Alethi. He didn't seem quite right either, though. The eyes were the wrong shape, and his accent was certainly not Alethi. He spoke the Sealay language worse than the other two, and usually stayed quiet. He seemed thoughtful, though. Ishik called him Thinker. Wonder how he earned that scar across his scalp, Ishik thought. So Demu's from Scadrial, and that's the Mistborn series. None of the three are like the main characters from these stories, like especially Demu. I mean, he's in the books and in the trilogy of books, the first trilogy, Era 1, but he's not like the main part of the story. He's just a character in the stories. He has a noticeable role, but he's not a main character. Bayon and Kaladin are more central in their stories, but they're still not the main character of either of their stories.
I like picturing, or I like how it's delivered in that Ishik thinks they're idiots. They look like idiots sitting in the shade on a sunny day with their feet out of the water, wearing shirts.
Yeah, bunch of morons.
No wonder their thoughts are so odd. Dressed with shirts and not in the sun with their feet out of water.
Got clothes on and not standing in water. Morons. So stupid.
That was the part that definitely reminded me of Rock, where Rock's always talking about the guys being air
sick Airlanders. Yeah.
The too much air.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Well, or not different. Air sick lowlanders. I said that backwards.
Yeah, it's because he's from the Highland. I love stuff like that because it builds the world out bigger when you put these cultures together and they butt up against one another and they just have these judgments and they're not arguing about anything. It's just he looks at him, he's like, fucking idiots with their shirts, and they're sitting in the shade so they don't get all burnt up by the sun.
Well, what's also, I mean, that this is like in the first couple books, he has like this more of an Easter egg than like massively important. I mean, it is important that there are 3 men that are after Hoyt, who's Wit.
Well, no, you definitely get the impression that this doesn't have much bearing on this book, though.
No, not on this particular book, but it's obviously like an Easter egg. I think of it kind of like when you see the Marvel movies, and at the end of the movie, they would show like the big bad or a character that's going to be in a future movie, and they would tie it in with the whole bigger scope, the big story that they were telling that they eventually do at the end. And so that seems to be more what Sanderson's doing with stuff like this, having a little Easter egg that eventually you learn more and more about what the fuck's going on, why they're chasing Hoyt, and what they're after, and that kind of shit.
Well, the main
is telling, like, there's obviously a bigger story than just what is going on in this world.
Well, the main reason why, I'm confident of that, and obviously you're right, is now having read the book, nothing connects other than Hoyt. That's it. And wouldn't even have known that until the last couple of days of reading, because I didn't even know that name.
Yeah.
So, but it's still it's cool. It's really cool for the reread because I completely forgot about this because there's no other connection. So it's kind of a nice little thing for me to go back through. I would assume on the first read through, I'm like, well, I wonder where this is going, and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So obviously that's the interesting thing about somebody who writes all these series. I mean, you do that to, like, it's a bonus for the readers, but it's also something you're crafting, so it would be fun for the author as well.
Well, and
to, like, sort of have these things, tapestry across one another.
And like they're from an entirely different planet. And so the big question is, like, how the fuck are they getting from another planet to...
That's a good point, yeah.
There's no, like, spaceships and shit. And so, I when you get further, how they are traveling. But, at this point, for where you're at, like, you don't know. And so then it's like, well, how the fuck are they getting around? How are they traveling from one planet to the next? And, like, these are three different three different planets. This is, the Cell system, the Taldane system, and then in the other one, I mean, you got the Scadrial system. Yeah. So, I mean, you have three different systems that they're from. And so it's like, how do they know each other? 'Cause they don't know each other in their individual stories. So how the fuck do they come to know each other? How did they all get together?
Something to do with Hoyd.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be him or, could be other things. Like I have some theories on that kind of stuff. A lot of these things, like on the bigger Cosmere stuff, we'll really get a chance once we get into Oathbreaker, the third book. We'll really get an opportunity to dive into bigger theories for the Cosmere, because I do like the group that these three are in. It's called 17th Shard, and I have theories about, like, there's different groups in the world and in the Cosmere, and that are either opposing each other or maybe don't have the same goals, but they're not necessarily opposed, but there's different groups, and I have theories on what they, how they might have came about and why they're doing what they're doing. But it's just stuff to start paying attention to, as far as when you see these weird people who they seem out of place when characters mention something like, that guy, looked like he was a Lethe, but, didn't seem quite right. It's probably because, there's something up with him.
I have a theory on the derivation of shard. It is the past tense of shart.
Yes.
So it's literally sharded pants that are being transported.
A shard is God's shart.
Which becomes a sword.
Yeah.
And someone So if that's the case, when we as individuals shart, we should welcome it and celebrate it instead of being all embarrassed and going home.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we should celebrate it.
You know what? Great job, Sanderson. Great job. You put a positive spin on something that some people have been, literally shitting on forever.
Yeah. Everybody's shitting on sharts.
Well done. Well done, sir.
Yeah, God's shart. I like that. God sharding is what they carry around, the aftermath of that.
You picture it completely differently now.
Look, you can wear it as armor. It can be a blade.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Super magical. Super powerful. Man.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. That's a good theory. And then, so they go, he gets up to these guys, you're late, traveler, said tall, stiff, blunt. He had to build an air of a soldier, though none of the three carried weapons. It's one of the kind of the clues that the soldier one, blunt, that's one of the clues that he's Bayon, is that he is a soldier, and in his description as well. But then the other one, like the day is right, friend, Grump said, but we were to meet at noon. Understand? He generally did most of the talking. We're close to that, Ishik said. Honestly, who pays attention to what hour it was? Foreigners, always so busy. But the Grump sitting there saying friend and understand, that's something Kaladin says all the time. And then, very well, let us have your report, friend. I've been by Fu Ralis, Fu Namir, Fu Albist, and Fu Muran this month, Ishik said, taking a slurp of soup. Nobody has seen this man you search for. You asked the right questions, Blunt said. You are certain? Of course I'm certain. I've been doing this for ages now. 5 months, Blunt corrected, and no results. You wish me to make up stories? Van Malak would like me to do that. No stories, my friend. Grump said, we only want truth. Well, I've given it to you. You swear by New Ralik, that god of yours? Hush, she said. Don't say his name. Are you idiots? Grump frowned, but he is your god. Understand? Is his name holy? Not to be spoken? And then It's like foreigners were so stupid. Of course, knew Rollick was their god, but you always pretended that he wasn't. Von Machach, his younger, spiteful brother, had to be tricked into thinking you worshipped him. Otherwise, he'd get jealous. It was the only safe to speak of these things in a holy grotto. Such a weird system.
Yeah.
Like, how did they fucking come up with that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it's one thing to have that like mythology, but to have it be adhered to, for what seems like what would have to be a long period of time is funny. Like, it's one thing to come up with, it's another to like, how do you convince people to stick to this? Like what's the well, I don't know. It's funny. It's a funny little thing that they put in. I like it. It's an interesting little twist.
Yeah, it could be like, I mean, obviously these 3 dudes are from another planet or other planets, so maybe 2 brothers came from some other planet and they had fucking powers and scared the shit out of them, and like one was the good brother, one was the bad brother. So maybe it spun out of like a visit from another planet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean that's, I could see. I mean, there's plenty of hypotheticals one could come up with, but yeah, I like it. It's a funny. I mean, this guy's quirky anyway. The world's somewhat quirky, so give him some quirky little beliefs.
Maybe it was Ronald McDonald in the Hamburglar.
Is that how that worked? Did people pretend to worship the Hamburglar, but really worshipped Ronald McDonald?
Yeah.
Or you know what? I think it's the other way around, because people acted like Hamburglar was the villain.
Oh yeah.
Which wasn't that a thing recently? Hamburglar's like
he's reformed.
Yeah, he's reformed. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. He's like that's right. He dressed like he was a criminal.
Yeah,
because he was stealing shit.
Yeah,
that was the whole thing. He's
stealing burgers, man.
Yeah, Hamburglar. Yeah, that's interesting. You can't do that shit anymore. You can't have him stealing stuff. Ronald McDonald's just old Hamburglar.
But we can't rule that out. That could be what's going on here. It's some kind of combination of the Hamburglar and Ronald McDonald trying to set up McDonald's in a new universe, an entirely different universe, entirely different planets.
Well, they've done a tremendous job of integrating their story and making it relevant to the people, if that's what's happening. I mean, man, I don't know why he's fishing.
That's right. They built the mythology, the religion, and they're hoping that religion spreads, and then there's boom, McDonald's everywhere. But then,
whoa! So first, it's the story. They don't even have McDonald's there yet. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. First, you build up the religion, get everybody devoted, and then Ronald comes in as the savior, bringing Savior McDonald's, and changes that world.
So this dude is going to be really relaxed. He's going to gain a shitload of weight because he's not fishing anymore. He's going to lay on that raft, eating
they all just
filet of fish.
Yeah, he's just eating filet of fish. Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
this is the best. It's so good. And the fries. You got to have their fries. I don't know.
He's like, why would you live anywhere else? Why would you live anywhere else?
Yeah,
just lay back and eat filet of fish.
He's like, he sleeps in the little their little playground. He's like, where else would you sleep?
The play place.
Yeah.
He's just laying around in the play place all day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's what's happening. Fucking like Brandon Sanderson has not said that this world, this universe isn't concurrent with our universe, and maybe there's a McDonald's that has ability to traverse it. He has not said that. So he has not ruled that out. So it is in play. It's a possibility.
He has not directly stated that that is not what's happening. So yeah, okay,
yeah. Someone should ask him that.
I think that would go over real well.
That'd be a great question.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So at the Purelake, are there gods? Is it really just Ronald McDonald and the Hamburglar? Like what? I heard like a really good theory, made a total sense. Like, I don't know who you're listening to, but you should stop listening to them.
I would love if that was delivered in like a serious. There's like a serious like question and answer session going on, and he's taking it seriously, and he's in the mode of taking questions seriously, and then that gets asked. You'd love to see the reaction.
Ask, people laugh, and then be like, no. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Is Ronald McDonald and the hamburger their gods?
You know what? What I would love?
McDonald's be world hoppers and trying to put their franchise in the world.
What would be so fantastic is if he went, "You've been reading very closely, haven't you?"
Yeah. Yeah, he tells people when they ask him questions that that would be spoilers. He says, read and find out, or RAFO or something like that, RAFO. Yeah. And I can't remember how he says it, how he pronounces it, but whatever. Maybe it's like when they ask that, read and find out. It's like, it is in play. It could be Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald might be a world hopper.
My God.
But, and so he goes, I swear it by Bun Makak, Ishik said pointedly. May he watch over me and curse me as he pleases. I have looked diligently. No foreigner like this you mentioned, with his white hair, clever tongue, and arrow-like face, has been seen. Obviously, first time you're going through it, you would have no idea who that is, because I haven't met Wit.
Yeah.
But that's obviously a description of Wit. And then, he dyes his hair sometimes and wears disguises, uses, I've asked using the names you gave me. Nobody has seen him now. Now, perhaps I could find a fish that could locate him. Ishik rubbed his stubby chin. I'll bet a stumpy cork could do it. Might take a while to find one, though. And so, Wit, he's another world hopper as well, because he shows up in all these other stories. So he's going to all the different worlds. We've seen him at all of them. So he's obviously playing a bigger part in the Cosmere story, more so than just the Stormlight Archive story.
I'm glad to hear that, because he's a fucking awesome character.
This is the most prominent role he has. I mean, he's not as prominent in the other stories. A lot of times he's just like a super side character that's just in one scene or something like that. And if you blink, you wouldn't even see him. But he is in the books. But there may be something to these fishing, Blunt said. Superstition, Grump replied. You always look for superstition, Vao, or whatever, how he ever says it. And then Vao, V-A-O, is similar to Baon, B-A-O-N. And then in you, Tamu, Blunt snapped, we can't pontificate our way to... For some reason, Tamu is Kaladin, when you would think that would be Damu's name. Like, Vao is Baon. Like, you would think Tamu would be Damu. Guess it was a little too on the nose. But, yeah, he's talking to Kaladin there. But, anyways, gentlemen, Thinker said. He nodded to Ishik, who was still slurping his soup, and all three of them switched to another language and continued their argument. He didn't bother worrying why they were looking for this Hoyd. Whoever he was, foreigners were always looking for things they couldn't have. As foreigners splashed into the Purelake, Grump was last. He seemed very dissatisfied. Where are you, roamer? What a fool's quest this is. Then he added in his own language, Alavanta Kamalu Kayana. And that Kayana means crazy in the language from his homeworld. That's a giveaway. He says Kayana all the freaking time in that book when he's in it. So that's how one of the things that gives him away.
He's always talking about everything being crazy, huh?
But yeah, and they're just walking into the Purelake. So what why are they just walking into a lake?
Yeah, that seems a little weird.
Yeah, it's not something normal people do. And when they're like, all right, let's leave. And then they just walk straight into a lake.
Maybe they suck out of those holes. I don't know. It seems weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that might be how they're traveling in and out, because otherwise, why the fuck are they walking towards a lake? doesn't seem like the best way to get out of that place.
When I was a kid, I made up a place called Ponca Newland, and my brother had a map of the world on his wall, and I claimed there was a lake in the country Chad, and you go all the way to the bottom, and in the bottom of the lake there's a hole, and that goes to the inside of the world, and the inside of the world was Ponca Newland. President was Pee Wee Herman.
Oh man, what a scandal! What a scandal for a president.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, but it was Pee Wee Herman. It wasn't Paul Rubens. It was Pee Wee Herman, the character, not the actor.
No.
And then I don't remember. There was other details, but maybe it's like that, bro. Maybe you go through the bottom, and then instead of being inside the sphere of the Earth, it would be you just fall out, and then you're in the I don't know. What was that thing called? The bread smear?
Shadesmar?
Shadesmar. Yeah. Feels like they go in the Shadesmar, eat a couple of those orbs, and get sucked into a hole.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah, could be. But that's all I got on that one.
I did like the idea that he doesn't want to settle down with Mabe, so he can be free to search around for rare fish. Pretty on the nose with there's other fish in the sea,
Yeah. Yeah. He's a player, man.
There's other ways to get my. He's like, there's other ways to get my protein.
God.
Well, maybe he knows.
Oh, man.
You know what? Ishik's in tune with the religion. He talks about, Hamburger and Ron McDonald's a lot. He knows it's coming. He doesn't need her for stew, right? So maybe he's thinking.
He's got franchise. He's got franchises in his mind. He's like, man, I pop up one. Like, I ate those fries. Those things are gonna be hot.
I got these egg McMuffins coming. Some chicken nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just ready to start popping out franchises. All right, so next we got Interlude 2, Nan Balat, and in this chapter we meet Shallan's brother, who's a real creepy dude, and he, thinks about what his sister is going through. And we get him,
It starts out with him seeming like a fucking serial killer in waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, Nan Balat liked killing things, not people, never people, but animals, those he could kill, particularly the little ones. He wasn't sure why it made him feel better, it simply did. Sat on the porch of his mansion, pulling the legs off a small crab one at a time. He's ripping their legs off and like, that feels good. I feel a lot better.
I was going to say that's way worse. The idea that killing things makes him feel better and gets him like staves off insanity.
Yeah, he's not as satisfied when he rips off the legs of a little one because it didn't give as much resistance. Like, not as satisfying.
It's
dude,
very
you're
creepy.
A big old fucking creep.
Yeah, it's very very creepy. What's actually
lock this dude up?
What I actually find quite interesting that Sanderson does, though, is that I guess you could say he does kind of feel like a coward for sending Shallan, and then in the sense of torturing a crab, he's exerting some control or power. I guess outside of that, it's just creepy. And
this doesn't seem to be like a new hobby of his. This seems to be like a lifelong affliction that he's been a fan of torturing animals for a long time.
Him and his dog, this is what they do. They just torture crabs. They tear them apart. And then he has to hold himself back and let his dog have some fun because he wanted to rip it apart. It's fucking very it's a strange circumstance. I can't say I'm on Nan Balat's team. Like, he's not my favorite.
No,
character.
he seems like a super creep. Like, really dug a hole in Shallan's family tree. Like, once you find out Shallan comes from a family that popped out a serial killer, like, you're like, or not a serial killer, but a serial killer personality. Easily could be one.
It seems pretty it's pretty broken. And I mean they go as far as even describing how broken their family is, how they're all kind of fucked up. She's the shining star for sure, man.
He didn't like to talk about his habit. He didn't even speak of it to Aelita. It was just something he did. You had to keep your sanity somehow. And yeah, gotta break some eggs, make an omelet,
rip some animals' limbs apart.
Yeah, fucking psycho. But
great way to stay in shape.
Yeah, and then we get the area of Jakafed to the west and south of Alucard, of higher elevation and broken by mountains such as the Horn-Eater Peaks, had a profusion of vines. Horn-Eater Peaks are where Rock is from.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jakafed is Shallan's home. And then, we get like that it had been 6 months since Shallan's departure. This morning, they'd word from her span read that she'd succeeded in the first part of her plan, being Jasna's ward. And so his baby sister was who before this had never left the estates, was preparing to rob the most important woman in the world. And so he's a cripple, and he's feeling bad that he wasn't able to do it. And he's thinking of Shallan. You see how he views her, and it's similar to how she viewed herself before she got away from this family in this house, and she finally saw that she had more to bring to the table.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of these things start lining up, because this feeds more into where you start in the beginning, where you're like, is Shallan even able to do this? She doubts herself so much that you question it as well. The fact that he's worrying about her brings that on as well. And then also that, their older brother's dead. I think we know her father's dead here.
Yeah.
Do we know it in this chapter? Yeah. That's all right. We know it in the beginning from her chapter. So, yeah, it's pretty desperate. They're in, a desperate state, and the whole house is pretty fucking sad. And the only other brother that's still around is the other brother is just depressed. I guess he goes through crazy depression swings.
Yeah, and you get the sense that it's a kind of a combination for Shallan, as far as once she got away from that family, she started becoming more outgoing, personality expanded. She got a little bit looser, started feeling more powerful, stronger, more comfortable in her own skin.
Yeah.
Thought of herself in higher regards. So obviously living with that family was holding her back significantly. Because the way she views herself in the beginning is the same as how he's viewing her here. What the fuck can she do? And then you find out she can do a fucking lot.
Yeah. Well, this seems to be one of
the super rare people on this planet.
And this definitely seems to be one of those circumstances where the wife dying young caused a big problem for the family.
Yeah.
Because he sucks as a father. It seems like all she remembers is his temper. She was the only one, it sounds like, that didn't, actually get lashed out at.
Their family, to me, is dumb, really, really dumb, because they're like, oh, that's Shallan. She doesn't have much use. It's like, she's, from description, she's probably the best artist on the fucking planet. What are you talking about? You're sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah, and then it seems, the way it's talked about, and maybe there will be more coming out, I don't know, but it seems like her father's a fucking moron. Real pissed off, had some anger issues, and obviously from what you just described, is pretty stupid.
Here's you see her do a portrait of someone, and you're like, holy shit, that's fucking amazing. It looks exactly like them. And you could be like, we're gonna go from king to king and fucking get these dudes to pay big money for you to draw their fucking self-portraits and make them look fucking extremely, fucking kingly. You could make bank just doing that. Just paint, doing portraits of powerful people. You could make a ton of money doing it. So it's like, what are you guys doing? Jackasses? Why are you holding her back? Like even if you want to, even if you don't want like her to be her own person, you could have at least been like, this fucking girl's got some potential to make us some money. Like you would think you'd at least utilize her talents.
Well, so then I finally found out that she killed him. I still don't know the circumstances of it, but that she killed him. I kept thinking, like, because I know something with the brother was involved. I kept thinking, like, maybe she killed her brother as the brother and father were fighting, and then maybe like it was an accident, like the brother killed the father, and then. But what I did find out is that she killed her father. So,
Did you found out that what happened with, man, I don't even want to say because I don't remember what. So tell me what secret was revealed, like how what did it say?
In terms of her, she told, I believe, she either said in narration that she killed her father, or she told Yasna that she killed her father. But that's it. There wasn't really any circumstances revealed as far as I remember. It was just that. It was just plainly stated.
Okay. Oh yeah. That was her secret. She had to reveal to when they were like, "Tell us the truth."
Oh yeah. Well, and what's interesting is you and I have talked about that and I know you were holding back, but it was one of those circumstances where it's like something happened, like something clearly happened when she left. It wasn't, all fucking, primrose path exit. Something went down, and we know father died. That went down, but couldn't remember the exact. Like there was clearly some checkered circumstances, and she was not visiting it in her mind for some reason. She'd come close to like describing something, and then would hold back. But yeah, it was just basically stated is all I know. So I guess I need to keep reading. I'll find out more.
Yeah,
sounds like.
Yeah, you definitely find out more on it. With each book, there's more backstory on most of the big characters. But yeah, especially her. There's lots of backstory that you got to figure out, and it's hard to keep track of when different parts are revealed. Like for me to remember, like at what point certain information is revealed. So I try to even stay away from talking about it because I don't remember point by point which part happened at which point. I know what all the different things that happened, but I don't remember what part of the book they come up in.
One of the things I did like that was pointed out here. It's not super important in terms of knowing how the axe sounds are put together, but I found it important in terms of the world and how it helps me to sort of realize how some of the things in the world work. Like so, axe hounds didn't have shells or skin. Instead, their body was covered with some fusion of the two. So shell and skin sort of fused, smooth to the touch, and more pliable than the true carapace, but harder than skin and made of interlocking sections. So sort of being able to picture that, but then pointing out that it's more pliable than true carapace, and then knowing that, Bridge 4, they're literally making bodies or making like wearing the skin of the Parshindi, and the parchment and wearing.
I mean the Parshindi, yeah.
Yeah, and wearing like the carapace and bones and shit kind of gives you a bigger picture of. This kind of helped me to just sort of start to see it because I mean it's a while before you hear that they even have this like growth, like they're wearing their own armor, which is in their skin. So
yeah, well, it's
learning a little bit more.
It's interesting because like you got, they all seem to kind of be a different variation of like a crustacean. There's like humanoid crustaceans. There's his dog crustacean, which is like it's like a crab dog or something like that. But
in the what's the
or
thing?
a shrimp, like looks like a shrimp.
Yeah, and what's the kroll? What the hell is it called?
The chol.
Chol, yeah. I mean, there's massive crabs, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So there's all the life on the planet seemed to be like crustacean type creatures outside of like humans, and they call birds, they call them all chickens. So
I guess that has something to do with the storms. I mean, it feels like there would be some evolutionary type of reasoning there. I guess, because they hide under their shells,
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of things, like when we get around with Tien and Kaladin in one of those throwback chapters, they pull things up, and then you find these animals, and well, even the shrubbery, even the vines here hide.
Yeah,
Go
no,
back,
that
come
would
out.
make sense that they would have carapace to protect themselves from the storm because this is a
Yeah,
daily part of your life. So you think, but then the humans don't. So why haven't
yeah.
they? Why are they
Evolved.
different than the Parshindi and
They
Parchment?
build buildings, man, and carts. You know,
Yeah, but they probably didn't start with that technology.
galoshes.
Yeah, yeah, making lots of galoshes. But yeah, I like that aspect of it. The it's super unique for a world that is just so focused in on crustaceans as like the life form on the planet. It's so weird.
Mm. Well,
That
and the vegetation also gets pointed out, like where they grow the vegetation. It can be a little less timid, like cultivated plants.
mhm.
They'll be a little bit less timid than other plants, where if you come near, the plants go away, right? It seems like, and we've seen that on the plains as well, or different areas where as you go over it, it kind of goes back, then it comes out. And it's like the idea of that happening with speed, because like you watch Planet Earth, they fucking show flowers but blossoming and all these things like real in a quick succession because they're showing it over that time lapse. But the idea of it happening so quickly, again, it's an interesting part of the world, like you're saying, with shelled creatures with natural armor, and then the vegetation itself adjusting to storm life. You know, everything's storm blessed.
Yeah, this chapter is so fucking weird. Like it's so different than anything else in the book because Nan Balat. I mean, it almost like it doesn't seem to have a ton of relevance to the overall story, other than it just like touches base with Shallan's family a little bit. But like he's just such a weirdo. He's like the whole time he's just thinking
Yeah,
about like Shallan being there and his kind of doubts about her and his kind of wishing he could do more. But he like as he's doing it, he's like this plan probably won't even work. He said, taking off the last of the legs. Odd looking at a creature like this when it had no legs. Crab was still alive, yet how could you know it? Without the legs to wiggle, the creature seemed as dead as stone. The arms, he thought, we wave them about to make us seem alive. That's what they're good for. He put his fingers between the halves of the crab's shell and began to pry them apart. This, at least, had a nice feeling of resistance to it. Like, dude, you are super creep mode. Super creep mode. But
yeah. It's well, and then they talk about the broken family, but you're right. I mean, these two chapters in a row seem to have very little relevance to this book in particular, except giving some background for Shallan, and digging a little bit towards the whole Shallan and Yasna Kolan. It furthers the narration of what we've read thus far. So it seems like it's furthering that story, giving a little bit more backstory, and it's building out the world in some small degrees. But yeah, it's strange.
I love this line he puts in. They were a broken family, years of suffering. Their father's brutal temper had driven Ashajushu to vice and Tet Wickham to despair. And only Balat had escaped unscathed. Balat and Shallan, she'd been left alone, never touched. At times, Balat had hated her for that, but how could you truly hate someone like Shallan? Shy, quiet, delicate. But I love that. Only Balat had escaped unscathed. Like, no, dude, you didn't. You did not. No, what you're
No,
doing right
yeah.
now, if people like saw you doing that, they'd be like, this fucking dude is super weird. Stay away
And,
from him.
well, and then to make it worse, hear what he thinks as he's doing it makes it
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not even
Well, actually,
processing that what he's doing is completely fucked up. He's just
I
like,
don't
oh
remember.
man, ooh, that felt so good, popping that leg
No,
out.
I was gonna say I can't remember, but I thought there was a point where he's like, he pulls it and he's like, ah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's like at the beginning. He's like, fucking no, that
so
was
creepy,
satisfying. It was so satisfying. The pop.
dude. Rip. Yeah, there was a satisfying rip to each one. Yeah, creep show, dude.
So weird.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah, there it is. He sighed in satisfaction. Ripping a leg free soothed him, made the aches in his body retreat.
yeah,
Fucking yeah,
so
gross.
creepy. But yeah, so he tosses the piece of the crab over his shoulder. If only Helaron had survived, their eldest brother, then known as non-Helaron, as he'd been the first son, had stood up to their father repeatedly. Well, he was dead now, and so was their father. They'd left behind a family of cripples. And then someone comes up to him, he's like, "What?" And Wickham rushed down the steps, hurrying up to him, vines, then grass pulling back before him. We have a problem. How large a problem? Pretty big, I'd say. Come on. So we find out later that what the problem was is the steward died. So the guy that knew how to work the Fabrial,
Yeah.
the Soulcaster, that guy died. So even if they get the Soulcaster now, then they don't even know how to use it, and the guy that did is dead.
That's
and obviously, beyond that is she doesn't have a Soulcaster, a working Soulcaster. So not only are they trying to steal from Yasna, she doesn't even own what they're trying to steal.
And as much as she has family back there that are depending on her, I can really understand why she doesn't go back. Like at least towards the end of book 1, she's like, "Yeah, I want to keep studying." I know it's a lot more intense than just deciding I'm going to keep studying, but it doesn't seem like fun. I mean, you want to sit around while your crippled brother fucking breaks animals' backs and shit?
No,
feeds them to his dog.
Yeah, their family is not well adjusted. Their dad was definitely not dad of the year material.
Yeah. Well, I guess being lucky enough to not come from a family that's all mangled like this, I would think you would just be like, fuck this noise and do your own thing. But I don't know.
It's funny because Kaladin obviously had it rough, but he had good parents, Laren and Hasina. Like his mom and dad were fucking dope people when he growing up with them. And then Shallan's dad obviously sounds like a total dirtbag, but they're both fucked up. They both got their own issues, but Shallan's a much more happy-go-lucky person than Kaladin, which you would think it would be the reverse, but I don't know. Maybe it was something to do with Shallan growing up in fucking hell, and she had to build up that tough skin from an early age, whereas Kaladin had more love and caring youth, and so losing that part of his life was more of a blow. Plus, he seems to have a problem with depression, just pure and simple, no matter what. He was going to have depression problems, but I think it might be even made worse because of his life was pretty solid, and then it got way worse. Hers started off like shit and has gotten a little better.
Yeah, it seems like he from very early on he had trouble letting go. Cared too much, right? He didn't know when to care a little bit less, I think is the way his dad describes it.
Yeah, and he just seems like he talks about like the weeping always made him a little weepy, and they become a little crybaby during the weepings. And I think he's just if he's short on vitamin D, he's likely to slip into a fucking depressed state. So when it's cloudy and raining all the time for like weeks, he's in the doldrums.
So he was. I mean, we were right when he was in the slave caravan. He was kicking back. He was really, getting that vitamin D,
soaking in those rays,
laying back, just getting wheeled around. Really had it made.
I don't know. Yeah, other than the slave part, but the rest of it, the sun was out.
He had clothes. He had some leaves at one point that he thought still thought he liked, but apparently he didn't like at all. That was confusing for her. Why did he do it? He shouldn't have done that. Should have made it more clear they didn't like him.
But let's see. So what we got next week? We'll finish up the last interlude, which will be what's his face? Zeth. Get his interlude, second Zeth chapter, which is kind of interesting. And then we will jump into Dalinar and Adolin and Renarin and Sadeas and Elhokar.
Boom. And
meet some of the royals.
Yeah. Well, that'll be in 2 weeks. Next week we have
yeah, correct. In 2 weeks.
King Killer. And we might have a little treat of Rothfuss dropping some I don't know if we talk about it on this, but might be letting us in on a little prologue and a chapter from book 3.
If you don't follow me on Twitter, you'll be here. I mean, I don't even know what the date is that we're recording right now. It's the 8th. Yeah. So, or is it the 9th? It's the 9th. And so Rothfuss on the 9th announced that, he had a deal where if they raised so much money for his charity that he would release the prologue plus a single chapter from the Doors of Stone. So we should be getting the prologue for the next book and a chapter from the next book. And at some point here, he didn't announce when. Maybe he did today, but I haven't heard anything on when.
I feel like if that drops within the next few days, that should be the next thing we talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to like stock that off. I'd want to
go
right into
like
that.
I would record an episode on that and then put it out immediately.
Yeah,
but yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, so we're gonna finally get some Dalinar chapters. I like part 2 a lot. I like the introduction of Dalinar, and I like all of them. Adolin, Renarin, Dalinar, Sadeas. We get wit. Elhokar is kind of douchey, but I like the rest of them. They're all entertaining reads, and we're getting a long break from Shallan. We're not going to run into Shallan and Yasna for a while, other than they talk to him on a span read. They're not in part 2 at all.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, some of these are going to seem like they're almost new to me. Obviously, I've read them, but it feels like it's been a little bit. The Zeth chapter is cool. Yeah, I just read that one. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, they're all pretty fucking dope. I mean, it starts off like they're fighting a giant. The shell beast. I don't know why I always draw a blank on the name of them, but
the chasm fiend.
Yeah, chasm fiend. Yeah, this is they're fighting a giant chasm fiend, and it's the
situation that happens there. Yeah, dude, that thing plays out for a long time.
Yeah,
that whole situation. That's another one. What we talked about with that Shallan realizing Yasna didn't really use the Fabrial. Similarity with Elhokar and that whole situation with the
strap,
the saddle, the saddle strap or whatever.
Yeah, so we find out, Elhokar did it, and then we also we don't know though who damaged his shard plate, because his shard plate was set to be fucking way too many pieces were broken in his shard plate. I mean, we'll talk about it when it comes up, but way too many pieces were broken. There's no explanation for how that happened, but someone had to have done that.
That's interesting. Right on.
So we got some good stuff coming up right off the bat with Dalinar and Adolin chapters.
I'm glad it didn't take us too long.
More Kaladin trying to turn this ship around for this crew.
It didn't take too long to get this connected with some fast food franchises, so I'm glad we made that. We got it there.
Yeah, it's important. Like, I think there's not enough focusing in on how central McDonald's and Jack in the Box and Burger King are to these worlds, these fantasy worlds, but we find a way to make it very much about them. I like that you're like, I like that we were able to bring in, fast food when the last episode we probably sold 8 million orders of chicken nuggets. People were
Mention
listening
McRib.
in, and they're just like they're listening on their way home from work, and then all of a sudden they're like in the drive-through ordering chicken nuggets. They're like, "What the fuck? How did I get here?"
I don't know why this comes up so much.
See, they're like
fuck?
listening episode, and they're like just dipping nuggets and eating it, and they're like halfway through before they realize, like, I don't even remember going to McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's just organic. It's just happening, you know?
Yeah.
Just like their food. Organic.
Yeah. So when that comes out, McDonald's, and you see that giant fucking boost in your guys' sales for chicken nuggets, Mr. McDonald, Ronald.
Yeah, Ronald.
Hit me up.
Hit
us up. I'll sell all kinds of shit. Let me know when that McRib's coming back.
Well, it's kind of, we already did it, so, you know.
Yeah,
well, but if they want to keep it going, that's the thing. You want to keep this going? You want to see those numbers bump?
Yeah. Want the old King Killer podcast bump up some cash. But yeah.
Right on.
On that note, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace out.
Shove some of that food down your face.
Yeah, go shove some nuggets down your face. Tell Mr. McDonald that we sent you. Peace out.
Shit. Yeah. See ya.